Hello, all of you. Thank you so much for joining in with Let's Deal With It on tonight. Listen, let's get our notepads ready, our pens, and let's have this conversation about more money. Go ahead and tag, like, share, invite someone. This will be a great talk show on tonight. This is episode 3. So we want you guys to sit in and listen to what we have to say to you. I am your host, Victoria Nicole Hook, and I am excited that you decided to join in with us on tonight. Let's go ahead and get our phones and let's share to our groups, to our pages. This is a live show, so we want you to be involved as much as possible. So let me go ahead and hit this share button. Call all the shots. No longer on mute. We will not stop until we complete what we have been called to do. Yeah. I pray you all are doing well. Let's go ahead, get those likes, shares going. Come on, we've been having a lot of feedback from our past 2 shows. And so we just are really excited. Again, tonight we're dealing with, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with money. Money problems. Are you having money problems? Listen, some people have so many money problems they can't even count on both hands and both feet. So go ahead, get those numbers up tonight. We would love to see your comments in the comment section. Hi, Shekinah, Antoine. Hi, Veronica, Carolyn, Rainey. Hi, God bless you. Beverly. Hi, all of you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. I tried a little bit of something. Come on, get those likes and shares in here because we're going to be talking about some really great stuff. Hi, Miss Carolyn. Hey, LReco. Thank you so much. I'm looking gorgeous tonight. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right. So we have some great guests on tonight. I'm super excited about my panelists, my spiritual mother. I just thank God for her. Pastor Karen Jones, my overseer, Lolinda Brown. Just getting all the preliminaries out of the way because at the end of the day, you know, this is a talk show and we deal with a lot of things. So those of you who are out there, I'm just loving the fact that you guys are giving me great feedback. Hi, Mother Erica. She is the mother of No Longer on Mute International. We thank God for you being on tonight. I'm sorry you didn't get no notifications. This is a real show, so we're able to see live comments. We're able to see them, so we want y'all to talk back to us. We want y'all to heart us, like us. If you have questions, please comment. We will bring you into the studio, right? And so you can talk back to us. So just let us know, hey, bring me in. Just type bring me in and we will bring you in. On tonight, we have Dr. Darrell Tolbert, my spiritual father, out of Ocala, Florida. He will be with us tonight. We also have branding and marketing production company that's going to be on with us tonight, and that is LReco. Hi, Cassandra. Nice to meet you. It's your first time joining. I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much about my story. Oh, yes, Linda. The color is everything. And this color that I have on is by Chemical Faces. Her name is Kimberly Menifee, and she is actually located right here in Houston. She has her own makeup line. So I am representing her lashes as well. And I'm also representing her lipstick line. So it's nothing like supporting small Black owned businesses. So hit Kim up and let her know that, listen, Lady V, she was wearing your lipstick and it is popping. And she made this lipstick. So, and it stays on perfectly. It doesn't smudge or nothing. There's King Bruce there. Hey, how are you? I'm so glad that you're on tonight, all the way from North Carolina, Time Studios. Shout out to you, the Bruce Dickens himself, his soulful self. Hey, Lady Bianca. I'm trying to get everybody before we actually get into the show. Our panelists, some of them are running a little bit behind, but it's okay. It is okay. Shout out to Bawse Productions for the layout for the show. Don't y'all love it? Oh my goodness. So listen, God is doing amazing things for us, and we want you guys to be a part of what we're doing. So this is the opportunity and time, even throughout the show, you can definitely go to www.nolongeronmute.com. Or you can donate to our show to bring more things to our show as far as with the as far as getting more equipment for our show. I'm telling you, I can't wait for you guys to see us on Roku. We'll have our Roku channel and we'll have a slot. So I'm telling y'all, tonight is going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to deal with on tonight. Your attitude is infectious. Well, thank you, Mom Kathy. I really appreciate it. Yes, thank God for Kimberly J. Menifee and Chemical Faces. Yes, the beat is on tonight. So I am rocking her lipstick on the show and her lashes, and you will love it. Also, yes, those of you who are looking to purchase my book, we have went through the revamping of the book. So we thank God for Bawse Productions for really expediting things for us, getting the things done. We also thank God for Wordsmith Books Enterprises. Tamika Smith is the CEO of that company. So if you're looking to get your book out there, if you're looking to get coached, she is the contact person. Set up your consultation. It is not for free, so that you can get in the new year with your book. All right. And so any type of conversations that you need to have with me directly, go directly through my team. Linda Wilkes is on here. She is the one you guys are talking back to, or Kathy Tolbert. So don't think you're talking to me. Don't think you're talking to me. All right. So I have a lot on my plate and I cannot respond to everybody's messages or talk to everyone. So please, please, please respect that. Or you will hear from Mother Erica Hawkins herself. And so if you get a call from Mother Erica Hawkins, that means the boss is on the line and you are in trouble. All right. So you don't want the boss to get on the line, because when it comes to Victoria Nicole Hook, she will hurt somebody over me as well as those who love me. So Linda, she is handling the administrative side. That is And she's awesome at what she does. And so if she asks you for straightforward questions, just as well as Kathy Tolbert, do not be offended. There are a lot of crazies, and we have received a lot of inboxes, hundreds of inboxes. And it's not that we are not trying to respond to you in a timely manner, but we appreciate your testimonies and we love that. Thank you, Abigail. God bless you as well. So let's get right into it, okay? I think I got all of that out of the way. So tonight we're dealing with money. How many of you having money problems? Okay? How many of you having money problems? If you having money problems, don't lie. Yes, yes. He said, I am your father. Yes, that is my father in North Carolina, the apostle, the Hulk himself, the terminator of the word of God, Apostle Keith K. Curry. I love him so much. He is the pastor of Free of North Carolina out in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So listen, if you guys are in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, go to the Free, because you shall be free and free indeed. He said, nope, I am your father, so I am special. Yes, I have great mentors and I have great fathers that God has blessed me with, and so who are solidified and solid in my life. And Apostle Keith K. Curry and Darrell Tolbert are those individuals. So besides my biological father, whom I am now still building a relationship with, but those two men have been silent in my life since I've been here in Houston, Texas. And Apostle Keith Curry been in my life before I moved to Houston. So, I would be at the Free. Hear me if I was in North Carolina. All right. So I just thank God for the covering. All right. So I'm gonna be talking back to you guys. Like I said, it's a real show. So if I see your comment, I'm gonna shoot it and I'm gonna be able to see it because StreamYard allows me to see your comments. So if I'm on my Facebook Live and I can't see your comments, I don't see them. I just don't. So please don't be offended. We've had someone inbox me that was very rude. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize people could be so mean. I was like, oh. So I figured that out real quick, that people can be mean. I can be too, but not to that degree. Not that bad. But again, let me ask you this question. Who are having money problems? If you're having money problems, um, let me answer these for you and knock all of these out of the way for you. I was in banking at Wachovia Bank at the time before it was transferred over to Wells Fargo, sold over to Wells Fargo. And I enjoyed being in banking. I had the pleasures of working with great loan officers, working with the tellers, working with the bank manager. I even had got a position as a bank manager as well back, Jesus, almost 20 years ago. And so I got a lot of questions as far as what do I need to do to open up an account? I got those type of questions. And anytime you're trying to open up, depends on the type of account you're trying to open up. Okay. Personal account or business account. You need to know what you're going in there for. I recommend anybody that is doing banking, I recommend you to get with the loan officer, get with the banker, and make sure that you know exactly what you're trying to get. So those are called products and services. Some people say, I don't want it. I just want to get my money out of account. Get my money out of my account, and that's it. I don't want to talk to no tellers about no trying to set up an appointment with the loan officer. I just want to get my money. Well, I want to bring you on a little bit of insight in banking. Well, the tellers, they just not there just depositing and making withdrawals, receiving deposit slips and withdrawal slips. No, that's not why they're also there. They also have to meet sale goals as well. And so in banking, that's what they have to do. They have to meet products and services for their clients, the customers that comes into the bank. So stop being mean to the tellers, please. And if you don't have no money in the bank account, don't get mad at the teller and want to know why your account is in overdraft and you have 5 non-sufficient fund fees. Don't get mad, okay? And so I need you guys to really understand that, okay? Please understand that. I can't stress it enough. I have friends who are still in banking today doing great, vice presidents. And I'm telling you, please be nice to the tellers. Please be nice to the loan officers. Please be nice to the bankers. Please, because y'all in there for help. They not there looking for your help. Y'all have to come into the bank, give your deposit slips, your withdrawal slips, and then you get upset. Like around this time of year, I thank God I'm not in banking, because people get upset if they got a freeze on their account, somebody died, or if they got a deposit and then y'all account was in the negative. Then y'all want to go in there and try to get all these different fees waived, and you know you're terrible with money. So please, 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 please. Hi, Evangelist Takita. Everett, she said, so true. I worked for bank for 17 years. You sure did. And it's amazing to me how people who don't manage their money well, they want to fuss out the people in the bank. You didn't manage your money well. And if you put overdraft protection on your account, everybody think it saves you, but do you know you're really making the banks richer when you don't manage your money well? You are making the banks richer. Did you hear what I said? So some people don't want overdraft protection. If you don't have enough money, it just declines your card. And most people, when their card gets declined, they be like, "Oh, try it again. Something must be wrong with your machine." It's nothing wrong with that machine. You need to check your bank account. Now everything is online. So you got online banking. I still, to this day, I know it may seem old school, but I still have a check register book. LaQuinta Whitaker, don't you say nothing about my check register book, because I still believe in checks and balances. So I believe that it's important to have a check register. I still write checks because I'm good with managing my money. I got a whole checkbook because I can write checks and my checks don't bounce. So and what I've learned about the African American community, they will write bad checks and then go somewhere else and go open up another account and do the same thing there. Don't you know there are felony charges that you are going to have to face for writing bad checks on those accounts and not paying that money back? That money, you will end up having restitution fees. You will have to suffer the consequences for taking the bank's money and not paying them back. Because once it goes into overdraft and the bank pays the overdraft, the company who you pull the money from, then they charge you a fee. So you got to make sure you guys are reading your disclosures. Y'all throw y'all disclosures away. You need to read them. I'm a firm believer in reading it black and white. I should have been a lawyer. That's what my grandmother told me. I should have been a lawyer. So you want to make sure that you guys balance your money properly. Does anybody have any questions about checks and balances? Does anybody have any questions about banking? I know with Wells Fargo, some people ends up having to do the way to save. Every time you swipe your debit card, you save $1. So however many times you swipe that card, if you swipe that card $10 in that day, $10. If you swipe that card 10 times in that day, $10 is transferring over to your savings. And I think it's a great way to save. It is, but some people don't realize how many times they swipe that card in a day. I used to get numerous of complaints that it pulled money out. Well, you signed up for the way to save. You signed up for the personal checking account that's attached to a savings. So how you gonna get mad at me or the banker because that's what you set up? Make sure you review your products and services and what you're getting when you're going into banks. Also, I write business proposals. No, they're not for free. I've written a business proposal and the proposal succeeded his expectations. And I was super excited because it was a 35-page business proposal. And I thank God that he was able to grace me with that type of knowledge, because I went to school to the University of Phoenix and got my master's of business and administration degree, as well as I got my degree in education. So it's a lot of things that I received where now I'm putting to use. So I really need you all to fully understand What I'm saying to you all, when it comes down to banking, business proposal, getting loans, getting all those things, it's really important when you go into a bank. All right. Also, if you guys are trying to save, I always tell people to pay yourself. I went through this big issue when I was married. And the issue that I went through was having the same bank account. Some people in marriage counseling, they say, you know what? I think it's good for you to have separate accounts and then you have an account to pay bills. Okay. Um, I had two different accounts. Okay. And then there was an account where at that particular time, my ex-husband didn't have his own banking account at the particular time. So when he didn't have his own bank account, then I said, okay, you don't have your own bank account. So how about this? We join our accounts together. Of course, he was against it because he was like, no, I don't want to do that. But it ended up where I ended up seeing, as far as money management, when you find out the spouse that you with can't manage money and you check and it was $500 in the account that day, and then the next day it's $170 gone, you're like, wait a minute, what happened to the money? So, and I'm just using that as an example. So you want to make sure with finances, when you're joining accounts together, make sure you have a person on your account that is very responsible. Also with banking, if you do not have a power of attorney or somebody that is an executive of your estate, if the power of attorney is you die, the power of attorney dies as well. You're only the power of attorney while you're living. Let me say that again. I don't know if the people in the back can hear me. You are only the power of attorney while they are living. So you cannot go to the bank and say, hey, my name is on the account, but you are listed as on the account as POA. Once the person who is on that account dies, you die. Your rights die. I hope we understand each other. So if you do not have a living will, if you do not have an executive of a state, okay, if you don't have any of that, money that's in the bank goes to the state. And it sits there until somebody claims it. Do you know how many dead people don't have nobody that have money in their bank account, and the family come in and we need to get that money? The bank cannot give you money when you are not the account holder. I hope I'm making sense tonight. Y'all quiet. In all my years that I was in banking, I learned so much. I was able to purchase my home at the age of 21. And being that I was able to purchase my home at the age of 21, I signed the papers at 20 on my date of birth. 2008, I bought my home. I was 20 years old. And at 21, I signed the documents for my home. My rate at the time was 6%, 6.125% on $148,000 house. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1 car garage. An acre and a half. It was just me. And at the time, I was working 2 jobs. Okay. And so I was working 2 jobs, but my bank job was the job that really covered me. I had a second job as a mental health therapist. I was being a mental health therapist for young children. And so I did that, worked 20 hours a week, was making $500-$600 a week. At the time. And then I also was working at Sam's Club part-time, only on Sundays and Fridays. I worked at Sam's. So why did I have so many jobs? I love money. But when you love money, you have more problems. So I was the go-to person. I had a lot of money, but I was the go-to person. So how many of you in your family are the go-to person? Are we gonna deal with it tonight? Because I need you all to understand, if you're always the go-to person, you will never have no money in the bank. You will never have no money. Randy, you said we cried because we are listening. Okay, I got a question. Cassandra, you said, how do you clear up a resolved issue that keeps you from getting a checking account with the banks other than a credit union, even after getting confirmation that you are no outstanding debts when applying for a regular checking is denied? So how you need to go about to doing that, Cassandra, you need to get with the bank, because I had a situation like that when I was in the middle of my divorce and I did not know this account went into the nigga. I had no clue. But then I also found out that they closed my account because it was outstanding. So going, they ended up selling the debt to another company, but that debt was still there. So I don't care what bank you go to, credit union, no, you have to clear that up with that bank. Um, that keeps you from getting a checking account with banks other than a credit union. So even after getting confirmations that there are no outstanding debts when applying for a regular checking, is denied. So you got to make sure. Now, some banks also look at your credit score as well. If you have a good credit score, I do know federal banks such as Wells Fargo, Chase Banks, BB&T, First Citizens Bank. I'm naming a lot of banks that's in North Carolina, some that are here in Houston. I'm trying to think of some more banks. SunTrust, Southern Bank, Southern Trust Bank. It's a lot of banks that I'm naming, but what you will have to do is you need to go whatever that, because some of that stuff is not even on your credit report. Okay. Some of that stuff is not even on your credit report. Give me 1 second. Um, it's not even there. And so you want to make sure that you go to that bank where you were going banking at and make sure that debt is clear and get a statement from them. And you have to contact the National Publishing Clearing, not National Publishing Clearinghouse, but the check clearinghouse, because the cycle of a bank of a check, the cycle goes through 10 days of it. So you're going to have to contact, give me 1 second. That's a great question. I think it's the National Check Clearing House. Yes, you would need to contact um the Federal Reserve System. Some of it goes to check systems. Yes. Thank you, Takita. Some of them goes to check systems. So you may have to contact check system and clear that up with them. If it's an old debt. Takita Everett, she has years. Takita, I don't know if you will be open to anybody reaching out to you for any other assistance, but I do know that for sure. When I had the situation with my ex-husband, I still had to go back into I still had to go back to the bank and clear that up. And my dad, Darrell Tolbert, and mom, Kathy Tolbert, I owe like over $1,000 something, but we settled and they was able to allow me to reopen my bank account back up with them. And so when we settled, we still had to pay, but at the end of the day, my spiritual parents, they covered me so that I could get back on my feet. So get with Chiquita so that you know for sure. Some of it goes to check systems, and it takes a while for that stuff to clear up. Sometimes it takes about 7 years. It's just like like a credit card, same way. Um, and so let me make sure I clear that up. I don't even like to look at my monthly statement. The purchases are so embarrassing. My husband and I eat out too much. I need to set a bi-weekly budget just for. Yes, Abigail, it is good for you to set up a budget every month. I have a monthly budget sheet, and it works because I take my time and itemize everything every month. And you can dispute charge with checks has been writing. Certainly, I don't mind it. Perfectly, Evangelist. I appreciate that. But I write everything down every month. My bills, I write it all out. I know what's there. I know what I'm accountable for. I put the date and when it's coming out. It's like Hulu and Netflix. You think about it, $15 here, $30 here. Pay for a website. I pay for a rent. It's a lot of things that I have on my plate. So you want to make sure your monthly budget supersedes. You want to make sure your income supersedes your monthly budget. Did you hear what I said? You want to make sure that your income is higher than your actual debt. Because if your debts are higher, okay, LReco, I'm trying to keep my hands down. If your debts are higher than what you're actually bringing in, there's a problem. If you and Abigail, I'm not picking on you because this is real situations. If you eat not $100 a week or $200 a week, you can save the $200 and cook at home. What's wrong with you eating bologna sandwiches, ham and cheese, oodles and noodles? Daddy said he made them prison grills, prison meals when he used to be in prison, and they hold you. What's wrong with you making getting you some hamburger helper? That's $1 box. Get you $3 worth, $4 worth of meat. A pound about $5.68 now, and go make you some. You got leftovers for 2-3 days. It's all about how you manage your money. I hope I'm helping y'all tonight. I know it's tight. Mother said, no, you're not making a hamburger helper, mother. and if you can afford a good eating lifestyle, my hat goes off to you. But I really want you guys to understand when you are managing money, you got cash apps. You got, a lot of people don't even go to no bank. They got cash apps and Chime, these other different outlets. And I was like, one day I'm going to own a bank. I told my mama that. I said, Mama, I'm going to own a bank one day. I said, but I got to go through so many. When I found out how many no noodles, I still eat noodles, beef or chicken. I just like putting butter and hot sauce on mine. I still eat that with some bacon and some eggs. Oh, I'm in there. I eat like that because I have weird taste buds and I'm just weird like that. But I do have my moments. So, I just want you guys to understand what you guys need to do as far as with budgeting your money. Another thing, sausage sandwich. I know that's right, mother. I eat them too with mustard. Also, let me tackle on this. Pay yourself every month. So if you pay 10% tithe, take another 10% and pay yourself. And some people say, how do I do that? Pay yourself that month. Even though I run my own business, I still have to pay myself. It may not be much, but I've got to pay myself. I still got gas. Some of you are not including your monthly gas in your monthly budget, not including childcare in your monthly budget, food in your monthly budget. I mean, it's a lot of things that you must include in your monthly budget that you don't even allot. I promise you, and I'm going to give you a solution. I promise you, if you set aside $20, okay? If you set aside $20 a week, I promise you, if you can do that every week, you'll be good by the end of the year. Because guess what? You done saved $1,200. Yes, you can do 10% of your pay when you pay yourself, or you can do 20% and pay yourself. And that's what you have. Some people can't live off $200, $300 a month for themselves. Some people can't do that. So, for example, let me give you a breakdown before I bring my panelists in because everybody's here. Okay. Thank you, son. Because my dad gonna take over this conversation because he like it's money, and I was giving everybody's time. But let me say this part before I bring him on. Pay yourself, but see if you can budget how much you spend a month on eating out where you can actually pack a lunch or pack a snack. When I do live, I do live. When I do live, my daughter, she packs my lunch sack where it's bananas, apples, crackers, and cheese while I'm out doing live. So it's things that you can do to prevent from having to stop and get something to eat. Now, sometimes we need some grease, but again, pay yourself. So we went over checks and balances, doing a check register, because you can't always rely on the internet or online banking to back you up. So it's always good to have a check register. I still have one. A monthly budget sheet. Um, Make sure you can write checks and write checks well. If you can't write checks, just don't write them. If you have bad issues with writing checks. Collis' face looked like, what? What do you mean? You still write checks? Yes, I still write checks outside the debit card. But I also wanted to let you guys know, be nice to your tellers, your bankers when you go into the bank, because you never know when you may need them. All right. Now I'm about to bring my panelists in. Let me bring in the Dr. Darrell Tolbert.
Hey, daughter, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Daddy. I was trying to get to a stopping point so that I can bring you guys on. And
Good. All
bring
right.
in Collis.
Oh, this shit. Can't,
You can't hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear
can't hear.
you.
I don't hear anything.
We hear you.
Go back out, Collis, and come back in. I'm gonna kick. Go back out, Collis, and come back in. I'm gonna kick him out, and he'll come back in, and we'll bring on LReco. Hi, LReco. That's Bawse production CEO, and he is responsible for the background of Let's Deal with It talk show, as well as the new upcoming revamp book of No Longer on Mute. So, Dad, this is your area before LReco even starts talking about marketing and branding. Dad, this your area. You love finances. I'm trying to get the way you are because you teaching me. So, have
um,
it away. It's all yours.
all right. As everything, I'm a teacher, so I work for World Finance Group (WFG). I'm a financial advisor there. We sell health insurance, life insurance, and also annuities. So what I want to do though, I want to give you a little history about money so you can understand how money works. I can't just jump right in, you'll miss it. I want to go back to let's go back to the Civil War. Once the Civil War was over, we as black people, some of the black people in the South, they had land. They kept the land that they was already working on. And then I think it was the Homestead Act came out, and the Homestead Act provided people with more land. And of course, we didn't get our fair share, but we had black people who was farmers and they was doing good. They had what they called the bartering system back then, and they used gold and all those things. But as time progressed, they came up with called the legal tenders or the greenback. Um, and when the banking system came in, that's when some of the problems began because the banks began to control everything. They had what is called credit, what's called floating credit. That's what goes on with a credit card. That's floating credit. And all the floating credit carries interest. And what happened was when the banks came in, you got to look at the word currency because they begin to deal with currency. You know, word currency comes from the Latin word current, which means a system or a flow of energy from one person to another. It's going to be important now. It's a flow of energy from one person to another, from which you also get the word, the prefix of current, which means a flow of something. So money flows in a specific current. You got to understand that when you're in debt, you are flowing against or swimming against a current. Just like if I was swimming in a river, long as I'm swimming with the current, life is beautiful. But as soon as I begin to swim against the current, that's when I'm gonna have problems. People who are in debt, you swimming against the flow of the current. That's why it's frustrating. You upset. It's just like in real life trying to swim against the current. Now, they had it set up for only a certain percentage of people could really understand money and how it flows. It was never designed for everybody to understand how money flow. Trust me, there's a trick to it, So they set it up for only, I think it said 1% of the people to really understand how money flows. So money is a currency or a flow of energy. Trade, that's why they brought in the trade. The trade means a track or course. So in order to get money back in those days, you had to transfer your energy onto the track or the course when you bartered with people, and that's how you receive money. Now, when the slaves were ex-slaves, when they was on their farms and stuff, when the bank brought in currency, the bank, the Greek word for bank, or Italian word is banca, and the Frank word is banchi. It means a money, a table, or a money box. That's why you go in the bank. Guess what you're gonna sit at to talk about getting this money? At a table with them to talk about money. Well, when the banking system came in, the black people, which was sharecroppers, they gave them what they call floating debt or floating account. Means that every year the crops are harvested at a certain time and they're able to borrow money in advance. But what happened was, let's say the crops didn't produce, and when they sold the thing, let's say they still in debt, they was able to take that debt from that year and go over into the next year, just like credit cards, the same thing. Eventually, if they do not come out in the green, they fall so far behind. That was the system designed for the banks to take their land. And once they fell behind, they was able to sign their land over to the bank and still work on the land. But if their crops continued to fail, they had a bad year, then eventually the bank took the land. So it was designed for that. It was designed for the land to be taken that way through the system that they was using to bring them onto it. Now, when you begin to look at what wealth is, people think wealth is money, but wealth is not really money. Wealth is labor. It takes labor to get wealth. All these big companies that we see with these big warehouses, guess what? The reason why they have wealth is because they have laborers inside the warehouse. They have semi-truck drivers, which is labor. Amazon, the dude's a trillionaire. Why? He got a bunch of labor. And that's what the Civil War was about. It was about the South trying to keep their labor. They didn't want to get rid of the labor because they understood that labor is wealth. So we don't want the slaves to be set free, because when we lose our labor, which is wealth, eventually we lose our money. And that's why the word of God says this: the man that does not work, he should not eat. Why? If God is giving you strength to labor, he is giving you the ability to make wealth. And that's why the other scripture comes in that says this: it is God who gives you the ability to make wealth. Why? By giving you the strength to labor. So labor is what accumulates wealth. Wealth is a byproduct of labor. So wealth is a byproduct of labor. So anybody who's able to labor, they are able to accumulate wealth. Now it comes to, what do you do with your wealth? That is the problem. So everybody has a potential to make wealth. Now watch this, it's going to get real good. So now I established that the banking system came in and they begin to set in system designed to take the land away. It was a game that came out that we all love to play. What's called Monopoly. Everybody love to play Monopoly. Well, Monopoly, we play it as a fun game, but it was never designed to be a fun game. That's why it starts off fun, but after a while, they get to become kind of vicious, because the whole design of Monopoly is for supreme rulership of the land, supreme ownership of the land. Well, the game was not invented for nothing. The game was invented to show true life events. Watch this. When you look at Monopoly, you got a bank. Remember, I talked about the bank. The whole thing of Monopoly is to get land. Okay, so we're trying to get land. You got money involved. That's the currency that I'm talking about. Then you got a jail. Why is there a jail inside monopoly, because when they got ready to foreclose on the slaves' land and the slaves didn't want to give up the land, they took them to jail. That's why the jail is on monopoly. But watch how it works, right? Let's say me and some other person, we team up together. The whole purpose of the game is to take your land, money grab, a land grab, to get your land. That's the whole purpose of the thing. So soon as you get to like Park Place, these expensive places, soon as you get your land, the first thing you put on your land is a house. Why? Because I can charge you more money or interest for laying in my land. Then you go from the house to the motels. The motels are really expensive. And guess what? We can play team. Let's say me and somebody, I don't like a particular person who playing. So I tell this person here, look, let's monopolize. Hey, I give you my card right here so you can get motels, but you got to let me land on your land for free. You don't charge me. And they'll say, okay, well, I can land. We switch back and forth, but the other people land on our land. Guess what? We're gonna charge them. Why? Because we're trying to run them out of business, because we really want to take their land. But at the end of the game, even if me and somebody else was in competition and we have eliminated everybody else, we got to turn on each other, because monopoly means supreme superior order, supreme control of the land. So we're going to turn on each other. Why? Because I want all the land. So the game Monopoly was designed to show you really what happened after the Civil Rights Act, how the people took the land from the slaves. So it's a game put right in front of you that you play, but you don't really understand why you're playing the game. It's designed to take away the money. So the next time you look at the Monopoly game, remember this. So now the whole system, there's a system that's set up and it flows a certain way, right? So the design of the money is to keep you in debt. They really want you to borrow things. Let's say I grew up never borrowed money. Let's say I was fortunate enough to have cash money and I paid cash for everything. Now I'm 30 years old. Guess what? 9, 10 times I'm not going to have no credit. Why? Because I never borrowed any money to accumulate credit. Most of the time, the way credit is established by you borrowing money through credit cards from a bank, car loans, or anything. They want you to borrow some money, then to pay it back, and that's how credit become established. It's interesting that they want you to borrow something before you establish credit. I remember at 22 years old, I didn't have no credit. Why? Because I had never borrowed anything. I was trying to get a car, even though I had all kind of stereo stuff and everything I had brought and all of that. And I went to buy this car to try to get a loan. And no, you don't have no credit. Why? Because I never borrowed anything. So I needed a co-signer to come in because I had no credit, because I never borrowed anything. So the whole money system is designed for you to go in debt. When they brought in the bank, that's why the banks is able to accumulate interest. Everything you get has interest on it. Why? Because that's the design of the system. Even when you work, there's interest paid off for your money. So the whole setup is designed to make money. But also that's a biblical principle also. If you go with the talents, one man had 5, one had 3, and one man had 1. Pay attention to what God told the man with the 1. He said, I buried it so I can give it to you when you come. But God said something very interesting. He said you should have put, in a translated Bible put it perfectly. King James say you should have put it in a place where it could accumulate usury, right? A translated Bible says you should have put it in a bank where it would accumulate interest. So even God saying this, that if you got money, be smart enough to take your money and place it somewhere so that the money can accumulate interest. The mistake we make is we work for money, but the true definition of money is that money is supposed to work for you. All the rich people, they don't work for money. They money work for them. Why? They understand that there's a flow of the money. So they put it in with the flow of the money. So while they sleep, their money is accumulating and working for them. And that's why they're able to pass on wealth. We chase money, but money should be chasing you if you understand how money flows. So the rich people, they understand how money flows, because money is designed only to trickle through certain people's hands. Trust me, it is. The rest of the people are supposed to stay in debt, borrowing this and that, stay in debt. That's why the Bible comes in and says what? You are a debtor to the lender. And that's why God said you need to be the lender, because God understands long as you the borrower to the lender, you're going to stay in debt. So God said you need to be the head. You need to be the one lending the money, accumulating interest, so you can stay at the top. So that's the whole premises of money. So now that we got understanding that how money was designed in this country, how it was set up for the purpose of who it was set up for, we need to educate ourselves and find out, okay, there's a trap here. Whenever you go, especially this is how the people got rich. I remember when I was growing up, if you had bad credit, you couldn't get cars, you couldn't get no loans and all of that. But the people got smart. They were like, oh, whoa, whoa, we missing money here. So what we gonna do is, even if they get bad credit, that car been sitting out there on the lot. We ain't making no money on that car because they got bad credit. That car sitting there, we ain't making no money. So even though they got bad credit, we gonna up the interest rate on them. You know, we're gonna up the interest rate to like 25%. We're gonna let them get the car, but guess what? They're gonna make some payments before they default. We may get blessed, they may pay for the whole thing, but the car gonna be making money, but it ain't money. So they started being slick, letting people with bad credit now get cars with 25% interest, and then people get up in the church and shout, God bless me with a car. God ain't bless you with that car. That's a curse. Come on, somebody. God never bless you with nothing. That's a curse. That's a lie. That's a curse. You've been to pay for this car 2 times before it's over. God says that the things that he bless you with adds no sorrow. That's a sorrow. Paying for a car that's only cost $10,000. By the time you get through paying for it, it's $20,000. It's the people taking advantage of your bad credit. That's what that is. It had nothing to do with God. It's people who have become smart. They are now taking advantage of your bad credit. And oftentimes I talk to people, oh, I got this car. Well, what's the interest rate? I don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You done drove a car off the lot, signed a paper. You so excited because you had bad credit that they gave you a car, that you didn't ask the most important question. When I talk about cars, the most important question, what's the engine? They be trying to say, well, no, save all of that stuff there. Don't try to take me to Africa. I want the hood version. What's the interest rate? Let's get to it. Now, if you say something that's worthwhile, then we talk. Other than that, we don't talk. But we as people, we get these cars, don't even know what the interest rate is. You go off the lot upside down because the interest rate is that high. The car's already upside down. Sooner or later, you're going to have gap insurance. You might have to bring in gap insurance because the car is not worth the value. The loan is ballooned so high that if you don't have gap insurance, if you total the car, when they pay it off, you're still owe this gap in between of the mortgage. So now understanding that all of these quick rental check places, these are traps. These check places, you go in there and you get these payday loans, they traps, interest rate sky high. These are people who have become smart enough to say, you know what, we're going to capitalize off of your bad credit. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to keep you in debt, because if you got to borrow this week and now you got to pay back some money to me, you back in the hole again. So you keep in this vicious, what I call the hamster wheel cycle of borrowing. Or you go inside these furniture places. Once again, you know, all these different furniture places, you get this furniture, rental centers, and all those places are rip-off places. You know, rental centers and all of those places got interest sky high. You get these things and they give them to you, and you're paying all of this sky high interest on this stuff. Why? Once again, it's people taking advantage of your bad credit. So what do? What we do is, as a financial advisor at WFG, and a lot of insurance companies don't do this, we like to date our clients. What I mean by that is, it was a woman called me today. from another financial group, and she was trying to sell me insurance, and I didn't tell her that I sold insurance. I let her go through the whole spiel, and I'm asking her different questions, and her main intent was just to sell me insurance. She didn't know how much money I made or anything. She just wanted to sell me insurance. And I asked her a question. She's like, "Oh, you know how to buy insurance, right?" But I wouldn't tell her I sold insurance. Had I not had the knowledge that I had, she would have sold me a policy, which was an okay policy, but it wouldn't have been the best policy because she just wanted to sell me a policy and move on to the next person. What we do is I give you financial. I sit down into your budget account, look over your budget. We come up with a plan. Okay, what age do you want to retire? What about now, daughter? Can you hear me? I might have to go to a headset. So what we do is we go and I give you a financial. Let's do a budget. Let's sit down. First of all, okay, where you want to be at 65? What year how you want to be when you retire? You say, well, I want to be this age when I retire. Okay, how much money do you want to have when you retire that's going to take you on into the grave? And based on the amount that you tell me that you want to have, calculate it, then we'll come up with a policy. And these policies are not like a term. If you got a term policy, the term policy has no value to it at all. The term policy only benefit you if you die. If you don't die, then it don't benefit you. That's why it's called a term. That's why it's cheap. And that's why it's cheap, but it can say $100,000. What happens with the insurance companies is they have already placed in all the numbers, and based on what they call the big group or the big numbers, it's calculated that this amount of people in this age group would die in a year. So based on that, that's how they get their numbers, that this amount of people, this people are going to die. So they bring you the term. Why? Because based on the term, most people get terms, they're not going to die within that term. The bank's not the bank's insurance company going to win. You got insurance, but it doesn't benefit you. Let's say you got a 20-year term. You reach the end of the 20-year term. Well, guess what? That's the end of the term. You got to renew it. Now it's going to be higher because insurance is based on two things. Most is your age and your finances. So at the end of the 20-year term, if you didn't get a term that has a renewable benefit in it, you get to the 20 years, you're 20 years older. And guess what? The premium is going to be a whole lot higher because of that. But because people don't know that, and they say, oh man, this little bit about the money a month for that amount of insurance. Well, they're already gambling that you're not going to die in that lifespan. And 9 or 10 times they are correct. How you think the insurance companies stay in business based on this gambling? So what we would do is set a financial plan for you based on the amount of money that you have, based on your desires for the future, and give you a policy that have a cash benefit to it, meaning that you may pay $300, but it has a cash benefit to it. They may pay you 7% on the $300 that you paying each month. Then after a 20-year period, then it matures and you get all the money that you put into it plus with the interest. And that's the way the rich people do it. They take it and they borrow from these here. That's how they buy houses, because they borrow from the insurance policy, and that's how they pass on generational wealth by having these policies. I got a policy now that when I get 65, I get $100,000, and it continues on and continues on. Why? Because it has a benefit to it. Or if I, God forbid, I come up with a doctor say, oh, you got cancer and you're gonna die. Well, my policy has a living benefit to it, meaning that I can get the $100,000 right then. I can spend it and blow it. That way my wife and her next husband can enjoy all my money. I'm going to spend it while I'm sitting here in my little bit of time I got left. You know what I mean? I leave them something, but I ain't going to leave them all of it. I'm going to go travel a little bit before I kick the bucket, Now let me stop clowning. But that's just my take on finances. So you can bring in somebody else, but there's a system, and we got to know the system. Trust me. If you don't know the system, then the system is going to mess you up, because it was never designed for you to figure it out. Trust me, it was not. It was never designed. It was for you to stay behind the black ball. Trust me, it was.
That was good, Dad. I appreciate that. What you got, Collis?
That's the banker.
Yes, that's the underwriter.
That's what I was talking about earlier, right there. Yeah.
So,
Go
like
ahead, Collis. You have the floor.
when it comes to financing, what he was talking about in regards to people with bad credit getting high interest rates, that's called subprime lending. And most of the banks, it's certain banks that specialize in that, because if I give you the loan at a high interest rate, I might recoup about $5,000 to $6,000 before then I come and repossess that car. This company is called like Consolidated Asset Recovery. I used to work for, and basically they have other cars that come through called trackers. Now these tracker cars just drive by and take pictures of license plates, and then they send it to a system. If this system registers as a car that needs to be repossessed, then they send another repo company to come pick your car. So it's really that simple. People are not really having to search for people no more because they have tracker cars that go through it. They'll go through a parking lot like, let's say you in BB&T or you're at Walmart. They'll drive through the Walmart parking lot and they scan all the license plates with their tracker car. And then once they get a hit, they'll call Consolidate and say, hey, I have a hit. Because it's a software program that got built. I think they got bought out maybe like a year ago by one of the transport companies. But basically, once it gets that hit, it's sent. They make a call. Somebody come pick your car up. That's how you get your car picked up in random locations. It's not because they followed you from your house. They have other cars that track your car and then come pick your car up. So after they pick the car up, they send it back to the company. They let Wells Fargo know, hey, I got the car. Wells Fargo then sells that car again for a little bit less and starts gaining interest rates or interest on it all over again. So they just keep making money off the same car. So it might be a $20,000 car. You might have put in $8,000 before they got it from you. Dr. Tolbert might have put in $7,000 before they got it from him. And now I'm putting another $10,000. They done made about $35,000 off this car that was only worth $20,000.
Come on with it.
So it's but and I'm talking to my people in general, African-American people, like we don't really pay attention to the back end. We just want to be able to get it up front. So we don't really ask how much is this costing me 5 to 7 years from now. How we justify we can afford something is if I can afford it day to day. And I know this because I used to be in sales and I used to sell personal training to people. And if I told you it costs $350 a month, you like, oh, that's too much. But if I told you it costs $2.75 a day, you'd be like, I could do $2.75 a day. So it's a mental psychological thing that happens with people. I work for another credit union called First Flight Federal Credit Union. And you never know how people obtain the things they got. Like, so at this credit union, they'll give you a loan for 8 years. So you could do an 8-year financing plan on a car. Now, if you do the math for financing something for 8 years at a 5% interest rate, I mean, you're almost paying. If the car costs like I had people, I would underwrite Benzes. A Benz might cost about $50,000, but on an 8-year payment plan, now 8 years, of course, you can afford the payment now, because instead of it being over 5 years and it costing you $600, I'm doing it over 8 years. It was only costing you like $300, so you can afford that monthly payment. But instead of paying $65,000 for it after interest, you actually end up paying like $100,000 for this car. So you're paying 2 times what that car is worth. But when I see you riding down the street, I don't know all that information. Only thing I know is you driving the Benz and you must be doing something good with your life. Because like that's how we associate success, by symbols like Chanel and Benz, like even pocketbooks and stuff like that. You can finance all those things. They have payment plans for all that type of stuff. So I think we as a people, we got to get more into being on the back end where the real money come in, instead of being on the front end. Like it's like Nipsey said, mailbox money. You know what I'm saying? They give you front end investments for the back end advance. It's like I give you $20,000 now, and I collect $200,000 later on the back end. You just got to be willing to wait for your money. And that's in regards to interest rates. But when it comes to credit, I do believe you have to play the game to win the game. So you do have to borrow if you ever want to own a home. You do have to get in the game and let them beat you up on the interest rates a little bit, because you have to borrow in order to own almost. Because nobody's really coming into the game $250,000 just to buy a house cashed out. That's not. I mean, Some people can, but that's not realistic for most of us. And I'll just speak personally. I got beat up on the first home I bought because I didn't know no better. I had just started working for the bank. I just started realizing what credit was. And I was at SunTrust at the time, 30 years old, and they told me I'm approved. I'm like, what? Oh, man, this is everything. So I run out here, and I asked the lady specifically, I said, what's the difference between the conventional and the FHA? And she said, it's not that much difference. It's just that with the FHA, you pay 3.5% down. With the conventional, you pay 5%. So you have to bring a little bit more to the table with the conventional. That's not true. I took the FHA and put less down, but then I have private mortgage insurance on my home for the life of that loan until I refinance. Now, private mortgage insurance is an insurance that banks use to cover them just in case you default on the loan. So they're charging you an extra $150 or $200 a month just in case you default on your loan. If you're under 80% loan to value, which means you came with 20% down to buy your home, then you don't pay private mortgage insurance. I didn't have that. I put the 3.5% down and had to pay the private mortgage insurance. Now you can go conventional, which is 5% down. You still pay the private mortgage insurance, but once your home gains value and it's under 80%, you can just call the bank and say, hey, my home is under 80% value. I need to have it appraised and get the private mortgage insurance removed. You get an appraisal. If it qualifies, the private mortgage insurance removed. With the FHA loan, it's on there forever. So I got, but it's just the rush of actually being able to qualify for something when you never thought it was in your grasp to be able to do so. So we just gotta start having these conversations with our kids earlier, so they're not like in shock when they first see a 700 on their credit score. They're not like, back in college, they come to you and say, hey, Papa John's will come to the campus and be like, hey, you want a free pizza? Sign up for the Citibank card. You be like, I got it, no problem. You sign up, you get approved. You're like $500. You don't got no job, but you got $500 on the credit card, and now you running the Glenwood Mall.
At college, you remember that. Yeah. You remember that because they did it at Shaw. They was coming out there with a Sprint phone.
Yep.
You run the credit cards.
Yep. Now you run the Crabtree Mall and you swiping this card. Look, I'm gonna pay it back. And you just keep swiping and swiping. Before you know it, you owe them $700, and you're still like, I ain't got no job. So you just like your credit's getting hit, and then you start paying them back, and then they start threatening you. And what we don't understand is that they really can't do nothing to you. Right. Like honestly, they can't do nothing to you. And like after 7 years, the credit bureau has to take that off your credit report anyway. After 7 years, you call them and tell them, hey, that's past this time. You need to remove that. So after 7 years, they're no longer able to report that credit card no more. And you can tell them to remove that. But they'll still call you and ask for the money, and then they'll scare you into a settlement that you don't have to pay. Mm-hmm. So the first thing everybody will always want to do once a year is go to annualcreditreport.com and pull your credit, see what's on there. If something's going to expire in 7 years, no need to take no settlement on that. You let that year and a half pass. If it's at year 6, and you got like 9 more months on it, you let them 9 months pass and let that fall off, and then you address the things that's recent, like last year, the year before that. In regards to medical collections, they're always changing the guidelines on that because medical collections get put on people's credit and they don't even know about it. $2,000-$3,000. They're actually raising the standards on that because I know at SunTrust, if it was under $3,000, we didn't even look at it. We didn't even consider it accounted because we know how people get stuck with hospital medical collections. But if I call you in a threatening voice, you trying to come up with this $3,000 when you don't even got to do it to get approved. So it's about knowing the guidelines that people are underwriting within and knowing exactly what it takes to get qualified. Like you don't need an 820 credit score. It's only but so much of it. They only got like 3 or 4 tiers. Like it's a tier from like 650 to 680. It's a 680 to 720, and it's a 720 to like 760. And then it's like one more tier after that. After that is it. You don't need this super high credit score to get approved and get a good interest rate. So I just say, like I said, you got to start educating your kids more, having that conversation more, because they don't teach this in grade school. I didn't know what a credit score. I seen a credit report for the first time at 27 years old. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's another, and I wanted to say to you too, Collis, and to everyone that is listening, even if you do have a great credit score, you don't have no income,
it don't matter.
you know,
It don't
it,
matter
it
because the
don't
debt to income, because the debt to income is a major piece. Like it's about how much, and that goes back to the car situation. You got this car with this high interest rate, and your payment is $700 a month, and you
Yes.
only bringing in $1,400. That's 50% of your income. So your debt to income is already at 50%. The most
Yes.
they're going to approve on a home loan is a 48% back end ratio, and that back end means that's considering the house you're about to buy plus
Mhm.
everything that you already are paying. Your back end ratio can't be over like 48%. And if your car is 50% of your income, you already decline. So it don't even matter.
And
Like,
that's why it's
so
so important that your debt to income ratio is not
Mm-hmm.
high, because if you're maxed out, your credit utilization is higher.
mhm. Another reason to decline.
They're gonna send it to you. They're gonna say derogatory on this, too many
Yep.
collections, too this, and you're like, well, why did I get declined? So you really want to make sure, and everything that you hit on when Dad was talking about the cash advance. Oh my
hmm
goodness.
Yeah.
I've never
Those
have
are
gotten a cash advance loan ever until I got married.
yeah,
And when I got
those
married,
are
I was
infamous.
so mad because them people told me that I was paying on the interest. I was not paying the entire
Mm-hmm.
principal of
Yeah,
it. I was
now that's
pissed off.
something you said right there is a key component of credit and finances that go beyond the scope that we probably can discuss in the time frame that we're talking. But you said the first time you took out one of those loans is when you got married, and that's the upside or the downside of most people's finances, because it's about who you marry. Like
Mm-hmm.
it ain't really just about love, it's also a business relationship as well, and you got to make sure you're making the best business
Yes.
decision as well when you deciding to be with this person, even if they
Right.
don't have a lot of money. Are they do they make good financial decisions? Are they somebody that needs to be seen all the time? They always looking for attention, so they got to go buy the newest charger with the rims. Like, you don't need that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, only one person probably needs to be the person that likes to shop. You don't need two people that like to shop. Like in my
That's
relationship,
true.
I don't care about the cars. I don't care about none of that stuff. I like nice clothes. That's about it. My lady, she likes cars. Oh, that works, because while I'm being frugal, I just got to keep telling her, hey, not that. Nah, why something else coming from Amazon? What you order this time? But if you like, oh, you order something, I'm gonna order me something too. Or what you got? I'm gonna get something too. Like now y'all just burning through the money. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a major component about finances. It's like the partners that we choose, and Black people, we so used to not having. Like we have this urge to buy because we don't. It's like the money start burning a hole in your pocket. You be like, man, I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't afford that, and I couldn't afford this, and I'm gonna buy all the video games and all the Jordans and all the shoes, and none of that stuff actually sets your kids up for the future. Because the
It
last thing
doesn't.
you want is your kid to be going to college. Now you make enough, and I ran into the situation as a when I went to college. Like, my mother went back to nursing school and got a nursing license, so she made enough to contribute to my financial education. But she didn't have the money because she was spending the money on stuff like making sure we had everything we wanted for Christmas, because we was in a single parent household, so she didn't want us to feel inadequate towards the other out about the other kids. So here I am asking for $500 leather coats. What am I gonna do with a $500 Averex? I don't need no $500 Averex leather coat. She should have
Averex
told me
was the
no.
coast
You
back
know what I'm saying?
then.
Like, she should have told me
Mm-hmm.
no. You know, but she's trying to she's overcompensating for everything that she's not providing me. So we just got to make sure that we having the right conversation. This is my little soldier. Go
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
princess.
Mm-hmm.
back downstairs, baby. Go back downstairs. But we just got to make sure we having the right conversations with
Those
our kids, and that
people.
we dating. We're making sure that we're dating with the right mind frame.
Right mindset. That's it.
Because there's no reason for a woman who's never took out a payday loan to get married and then be taking out a payday loan. Because see, that's time to go right there.
That's
I
true.
should have let her stay right here for
Yeah,
that
that's
little part right
crazy.
there, because that's time to go. My daughter should have heard that part right there.
Yeah.
That's time to
Yeah.
go.
I mean, and when and what I took it out for was for rent. And I was like,
So that means he can't even put a roof over. Come on.
absolutely. And I can speak about it candidly because it's the truth. And, I thank God that when I think I was in there and I paid and I was working, I was a director at the time. And no, before I became a director. And I was like, I went in there. I was at Advanced America. I went in there and I looked at the lady and I said, it should be paid off now because I went and got what, $700.
You know what's funny? Advanced America is one of them people that, like, remember I was saying about the cars with the subprime lending? They're one of the companies that do subprime lending, and they work with Consolidated Asset Recovery. So they literally give people Dodge Chargers from 2007 with a 22% interest rate, and then they come back and take the car. That's one of the companies, actually.
When I went in there, and I told her, she said, I'm sorry, ma'am. She said, but you just been paying on the interest. I said, so I wasn't paying down on the principal either. She said, no, ma'am. I said, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I called him on the phone that particular day, and I said, you need to pay this bill because this is not my bill. You asked me to pay it, and I went off, and he was like, I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna take care of it. We'll just wait.
No, you can't.
I said, no, you gotta pay this week because even if we don't pay it, I said, if we don't pay it this week, don't you ask me? I said, and I meant that I'm not getting no other.
See, you can't. And see, like the thing about it, you can't take care of what you don't know about. So he think he can just go in there and just pay. But no, that's not going to take care of. You have to pay this thing off in its entirety, or it's going to keep gaining more interest.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like I say, every man want to be head of the household, but you got to actually know something to be head of the household. You know what I'm saying? Like you really do. And
you really do.
I do respect. At times y'all get out of control, my black sisters, but I do respect y'all for challenging men to the point to make sure he knows something before he start leading you.
And that was the thing, like that's another thing, women. I can speak to y'all. If you know you're a good money manager with the money, don't you dare get no debit card. See, I was the type of wife where I respected him being the head of the household, and I did not mind giving my debit card because I was the one who made the money.
Even though he didn't have, but you did that without him having the credentials. You have more financial literacy than he did, and you're giving him the authority.
Right.
Yeah, she didn't know that though. She didn't know that.
I got chewed out over
Collis, she found out about that the hard way.
And I found out about it the hard way. And this was around the same time, Daddy, you got a phone call, didn't even know. My daddy got a phone call to get money from. I didn't know. I was like,
$800.
I said, Daddy, I didn't know.
And y'all owe me too. Anyway, with interest. I forgot that little clause on it with interest on it. It accumulated. That's been about 2 or 3 years ago. So it's about 16 now. Instead of accumulating, you know what I'm saying?
Daddy, I was not in knowing of that. And you know, I said, Daddy, I am so sorry.
Oh my!
Hey, let me put this under here. This is important too. You can't live according to your salary. If you make a 6-figure salary, you can't have a 6-figure lifestyle. And oftentimes that becomes the problem. And I noticed that the more money you make, the higher your level gets. So people get a raise, but you increase. If you keep following your raises with your lifestyle, a person with a $10 job and you got a $35,000 job, they could be better off than you are because your lifestyle is at that level. And I know that because when I had the trucking business, when I was making $218,000 a year, but I had a lifestyle that accommodated that. You know, I had like 16 credit cards, paid all of them off. You know, that's how my credit jumped up so high so fast. But my lifestyle was up there too. It was up there. So really, I made sure, oh man, he made $200,000 a year, but well, how much he kicking out though? You know, because his lifestyle is, your lifestyle is up there. I remember one time I wanted to come off the road and Kathy was trying to get me a job because she worked at a place to find jobs at Frito-Lay's, and the guy was like, yeah, you know, we pay our truck drivers $65,000 a year, you know, and I wouldn't move by that because I was making $209,000. But I remember saying, I can't live off $65,000 a year. Well, $65,000 is a lot of money, but my lifestyle was this high. But guess what? Years later, when I had to make a sacrifice, because I had my daughter, whenever we go to a store, Daddy, I want this, get it. I never even balanced my checkbook. I never did. They could have been beating me for money. You know, my brother had told me, my brother had messed me up. My brother told me the broke people check their checkbook. So I'm like, well, I ain't broke, you know, so that's stupidity. But the heck of the whole thing, right? But check this out, right? Check this out. So watch this. So I had to begin to understand that, okay, I couldn't live off 65. So I paid off a lot of things. And once I got out the truck, then I got a job, was only making like 40,000. That's when I had to begin to cut back. Daddy, can I get this? No. Can I get this? No. What? I had to learn to adjust my life. And guess what? Now at 70,000, I'm more content and got more money saved than when I was making $209,000. Why? Because now my lifestyle does not match my money. My lifestyle is way down here. So that takes that little 65 that I say I couldn't live off of. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You just need to know how to manage your money and cut back on things. And you couldn't find out, because God, this is one thing I learned about God. God has blessed us with enough money to take care of our needs. If we learn how to budget our money right, we'll see that every week God did meet his promises to you by telling you he'll take care of your needs. What happens, and I preach this, is you're in a hole, you're in a financial hole before you get saved. So you come to God in a financial hole. Okay, you're going to have to allow time for that hole to be dug out of. You come to God, you begin to learn how to manage your money. As time goes and you begin to apply these principles and you begin to come out the hole, you'll see that, guess what? I had a surplus all along, but my negative spending is what kept me in the red, because God made his promises. And I'm telling you, I'm able to live happily at this little 65. Then when I did making all that 209,000, why? Because I sat back and I learned, hey, don't allow your lifestyle to creep up to where your finances is, because now you can stash money in the bank. But if your lifestyle is at 100,000, well, it don't make no good to make 110. Your lifestyle, you in the same debt as somebody who working at McDonald's. Trust me, you are. So that's another thing to remember. Don't allow my paycheck to be up with my lifestyle. No matter what I get, you're gonna be in the same hole, because it averages out the same way.
Yeah, it's not about what you make; it's about what you can keep. At the end of the day, for real. If you make $100,000, and at the end of the year you only got $900, that's what you made. You made $900 this year. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, friend.
If at the end of the year you made 60,000, you made $60,000. At the end of the year you got 10,000. You made $10,000 this year. That's just how it go. But a lot of times, like I said, like you said, you get a new car. Instead of getting a car that runs off 87, you go get that Benz, you got to put 93 in. You go get that Benz, it costs $150 for oil change. So like these little expenses that you're changing up like that, they're changing they're also changing your financial situation. And then all you gotta do is get laid off one time. And that happened to me. I was working at when I was working for SunTrust, they had something called an incentive program, and every month we would get an incentive based upon our performance. And these incentives would be like $2,100, $2,500. So I based my lifestyle around this incentive because it was coming. For 2 years, I was balling out of control. I ain't putting nothing in the washroom. I'm taking everything to the cleaners. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole I ain't nothing. Everything getting pressed at the cleaners. Then all of a sudden they removed the incentive program. So they said it's an incentive. It's not a guarantee. So now they're just paying us our regular salaries at $50,000. They took the incentive away. It took about $25,000 off my salary. Now I'm trying to figure out how to survive off $50,000 after I already built this lifestyle off of $75,000. So it happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, but situations like that change you, because ever since then, it don't got to go to the cleaners all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, you better put on that easy care, that permanent press, and that LReco and be happy. Come on,
that's
here.
Right. That's right.
LReco, come on with marketing and branding. We still got time.
I've been waiting on this here. I've been waiting on this.
Oh man, there's the pressure. There's the pressure. First, a little bit about me. I'm
Yeah.
LReco Aireon. I am the CEO and Chief Creative Designer of Bawse Visual Productions. Bawse Visual Productions, we aim to take your vision and make it real life. And with this, I've learned so much, and I'm gonna try to hit this and I get out your ways. But with all the financial information that has been given already, that's 100% a part of branding and marketing. Because just like she said, you have to, you got to calculate your money, do that monthly budget sheet, because even this marketing material, this branding material, that eats into your budget. I've worked with so many big people, big artists. I've been blessed to work with them, and even coming from Los Angeles, work with tons of big celebrities and people, helping them with their brand and marketing and so on and so forth, when I'm not working on my own and I'm not on a TV show or something like that. But I've seen them eat up their money so quickly. And it's because, oh, I got this. And let me tell y'all something. A minimum for an actor when you are signed to SAG and AFTRA is $450 already. That's just minimum. That's just minimum. So that means if I get these awards, that money's gonna go up. If I get this role, that money's gonna go up. If I, do this in a certain scene, that money's gonna go up, because they have to pay for every single thing they do. SAG and AFTRA don't play that. They don't play that. You will pay and you will compensate them. And because even actors, we have to pay for fees. Being in a union, we pay fees, and our fees
Yeah.
are like $1,000 a month. So we're making money, but a lot of our money is going right back into exactly this, which is branding and marketing. And the first thing you need to know about branding and marketing, when I see you, I see your brand. I see
Mm.
what you're marketing. I pick it up immediately. A lot of people aren't trained specifically to see that, but that's one of the first things. When I see you, I can tell you what you're about, because when I see your brand is going to tell me what you're about. That's why you must be authentic. You must be authentic in your brand. You must be authentic in marketing. Who you are must be who you are on the field, who you are on the court, who you are in your house, who you are in the church, who you are in the pulpit, because I watch everything. We see everything. And let me tell you something. Here's what's going to help you, and I really, really hope it helps you. I can see everything you put online ever. Okay? It's called a footprint. It's your social media footprint. I can search up your name and tell you what you posted in 2007. I can tell you exactly what you post, when you post, what time you post, how many comments, likes, shares, all of it. So one of the first things is, who are you? Branding. Who are you?
Mm.
Because I got
That's
to get
good.
to know you before I can build your brand. I have to get to know your company. And this is for artists, this is for new business owners. Because if you are not creating your own business right now, if you're not working for yourself by now, something is going on. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Because you have what it takes inside of you. And a lot of the business owners that we don't see, and a lot of artists we don't see, it's because people have spoken in our ears and shut us up before we could get to where we're going. And let's discuss this and let's deal with it, because then you have to get to a place where you're no longer a mute, because my
Mm.
brand is going to come out the way that I want it to. My style is going to come out the way that I want it to. When I market my business, it's going to come out and you're going to know. Because as soon as we see red and gold, what do we know? It's McDonald's. As soon as we see the red girl, the with the pigtails, what is that? Wendy's. We automatically know when we see these colors, this is that business, or this
Brand.
is that person.
Mm-hmm.
We pay attention to this. Baby, red and purple. I mean, gold and purple. The Lakers. You see the navy blue and gray. The Cowboys. You see this, the blue and the red Texans. You look at this and we see branding and marketing every day. And just the way you breathe is the way that branding and marketing is important in your life. Whether you are just working, whether you have a business, whether you are an artist, let me help you out tonight. The next thing is what you do. I shouldn't listen. I've worked with so many people. Who you are and what you do in branding and marketing has to be the same thing. I don't need to be Boss Visual Productions and then this and this with 1,000, 10,000 different names, and I'm changing my name and I'm changing my picture the way that I change my underwear. That's not gonna work. That doesn't work in branding and marketing. It does not. Houston weather is bipolar. Your brand cannot be bipolar. I'm telling you what I know. The next thing is, what do you want it to look like? You have to have a vision. We were talking about the word earlier. Well, let me give you some words. The Bible says to write the vision and to make it plain.
Come on.
It says to write the vision and to make it plain. And it also says, even when it comes to our faith stance or our relationship with God, you can't be lukewarm. You got to be either hot or cold. Why am I looking at your brand and I'm seeing 10,000 things? I shouldn't see 10,000 things when I look at your brand, when I look at your company. I should look at your company and say, oh, this is a printing company, this is a publishing company, this is a talk show, this is a company that helps with graphics, this is a company that helps with branding architecture, because that's what I specialize in. Let me tell you something. I've worked with these people. I've gone to school for it. I went to school for digital media and design. I went to school for acting and television and film, still going to school for that. But one of the biggest things that we also have to take in when we're working on our own branding and marketing is you can't be like everybody else. Why? Because you were not made like everybody else. I tell people when they come to LA, when I'm in LA and I'm working with them, I tell people, you got to be your authentic you. That's the number one. Because if you come to LA and try to be LA, you're going to die. And you're going to go back home as soon as the quick as you came on that plane. Because it's a cruel world. And when you go into a space where there's people that know who they are, know what their brand is, know what their company is about, that confidence is going to rub off on you, hopefully, but you're going to feel out of place. And my goal is as a branding architect is to make sure you don't feel out of place, but to make sure even if you back in the pure backwoods of Southern California or South Carolina somewhere, I still have the same impact as if I walked on a red carpet, or as if I was walking with Ellen, or if I was with Oprah. You must have that same impact. Let me tell you something. Where you come from doesn't dictate who you are and who you will be. Your end was already written before your beginning. And then your beginning couldn't be written because a lot of things you do, your decisions change your direction. And let me tell you something, the decision changing in direction during branding and marketing, that can't happen. You want somebody to know who you are. We hear it all the time. Texas Hammer. Who is that? Who's the Texas Hammer? We get tired of those commercials, but it's playing. And we know the Texas Hammer, the Texas Hammer. If I get in a wreck, I'm going to the Texas Hammer. There used to be an ad on the radio. Girl, I just got hit. Well, you better go to IJustGotHit.com. Okay. Just as simple as that. That's marketing. That's like 15 seconds of an ad that you would have paid $3,000 for. Let me tell you something. That's a 15-second ad that you can pay $3,000 for that you don't have to pay $3,000 for. Even in the pandemic, right now, if you haven't burst out your brand and you're an artist, you are not an artist. And I'm going to say that with boldness and with truth. If you say that you're a business owner, but your business you haven't sold, you haven't written, you haven't designed, you haven't created, you don't have a business. You have a practice. You're practicing. But when you are owning something, a business owner steps in and they're taking control and they're taking notes and they're watching every single thing that comes in and out of their company, because what they've been saying this whole time, what they've been saying about money, this money matters. And as an artist, You want to live off of your artistry. That's all you want to do. I promised myself, and I spoke to God, and I said, God, listen. Now you said that you will supply all my needs. You put these gifts in me, and you said my gifts will make room for me. So why do I gotta live off of a paycheck?
Mm.
I need you to give
Come
me the
on.
intelligence to build my brand and to make money off of it, because there's no way a 12-year-old should be on YouTube making $1 million and I'm sitting here broke.
Mm.
Let me help out some of the adults that's watching, and I hope it hurts you, but I really hope you get it. Your kids are watching kids that are making millions of dollars because they know how to brand and market themselves. So let me give you a few notes. Let me help you out. The representation is you and your art, whether it's your business, your craft, the color scheme that you wear. Baby, I'm branded up. This is from my clothing line, Bossed Up. You go to boss/visual/productions.myshopify.com. Let me tell you something. Don't come for me for that, because I got a website. We're working on it. I promise. But that's another thing too. With all of y'all in these websites, I'm gonna need you to get a domain name, and I need to find everything that you do on that one web page. I don't care if you gotta have 25 tabs, but I need to be able to find you in one place. And speaking of that, social media, let's clear it up. I don't need to know your business, because that can keep you from your job.
Mm.
What you do every day will keep you from your job. Do you not know, with all the debacle that has happened this week, those people that stormed the Capitol are losing their jobs left and right? What you do, somebody's watching. You don't know if they're recording or not. You don't know if they're taking pictures or not. Somebody is always watching, and that affects you, affects your brand, and affects your footprint, and affects you as an artist and a business owner. Because let me tell you something, my mamas, all my family, they raised me real well. So I know when I go into some place, I'm not the biggest boss. And that's BOSS. There's somebody that's higher than me, that has more intelligence, or that has a broader perspective, because we have to stop thinking inside of a box when we are artists and we are creatives. Get outside of the box, because we're tired of seeing the same thing. I'm tired of watching the same movies, looking at the same talk shows, coming on your live on Facebook, and you saying the same thing and ain't helping nobody.
Mm.
Everything you do is represented by what I see when I look at you. When I look at her, I see no longer a mute immediately. I got on her about, why don't I see your face clearly on your books? I need to see that. I need to know that no longer on mute is about being free. So let me produce freedom, because what she's doing right now is producing freedom. When you become your brand, you begin to produce and help other people. Because Tyler Perry, he said to me in a conversation, and this is one of his famous quotes, it only takes one yes from God. It don't matter if they say no. Hollywood been saying no, but guess what? I've been on Disney Channel, CBS, CNN, all of that good stuff. I've been on all of it, and they told me no. People in high school said, what you doing all that for? But I kept representing who I was, and I kept representing what I do within my graphics, within my clothing, with even in the photography. Everything I do, you're going to hear Bawse, because that's who I am. It's not what I represent. It's what I become. My brand is who I am. So if you're going to represent something, you must become it. Because that's just like a preacher being in the pulpit talking about homosexuality and how it's a sin, but they in the bed with them. You can't teach something or source out something or help somebody with something with even in your brand if you haven't became that thing. You must live the lifestyle. And let me tell you something, what we say at Bawse, it's not just a company, it's a culture. Because what we do impacts your life, and we understand that. So a tip, create your own yellow brick road. Stop trying to follow other people's paths, because that's going to put you in debt. Let me tell you something, you go out there to Los Angeles, and you try to spend the money they spend. Baby, you're going to end up in debt, and you ain't going to have rent. And baby, those people don't care about you not having rent. They're going to put your stuff on the side and say, go back home where you came from. Try it again next year. There's at least 1 million people a month that comes into Los Angeles to chase their dreams. And out of 1 million, only 10 of them make it. And the rest of them go back home before 3 months are up. Because they don't know who they are. They're not secure in their brand. They're not secure in themselves. Or their creativity and who they are. Not only that, but I got to give the big ups to God. Because if it wasn't him, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be nowhere where I would be right now. I wouldn't have been on TV. I wouldn't be owning at 22 my own business that's prospering. I've made a goal to say before I get to 30, I will make it. Before I even get to 25, I'll be on the 30 on the 30 list. Because there's no reason this myth that black people can't be successful, this myth that black people can't do this and do that. Let me tell you something. Tell your family members to shut up, because that's who's saying it. Because that's who said it to me. And I hope mine are watching. I forgive you, but baby, that's what made me work 10,000 times harder, because you're not gonna tell me who I can and cannot be. And that's your brand. That's how you market yourself. The way that I dress when I walk out the door, that's marketing. This is branding. But when I walk out the door, I'm marketing this. I'm taking pictures in it. I'm making sure I turn so people can see it. I don't interrupt people, but I make sure they get a good whiff of who I am. When you see me walk past you, you got to know that, oh, that's black excellence. A lot of you can't achieve black excellence because you got your pants hanging down. Because you in the street. Because you trying to fit into a crowd that don't even want you.
Come on with it.
This hurts your branding. This hurts your marketing. And I promise everything that I say it all goes to branding and marketing. This is what I learned. This is what I know. I am blessed to say, and I'm going to say it boldly, I make 6 figures a year. But it's because I listen. It's because I market. It's because I budget my money. It's because I understand the very, very first principles you must know before you start anything. You can't start a company and don't know anything. You don't go to a Dollar Tree and ask them to prepare your taxes. Come on. You don't go to a Family Dollar to go and get some Adidas or Apple products. You go to that store where that product belongs. And you know that when I see it in another store, it's not of the same value and it can't be the same thing. So your branding, if I see you on Instagram and you this way, and then I see you on Facebook and you all hallelujah, praise the Lord. But I see you in the club on Saturday on Instagram and I see you naked on Twitter, I'm confused. Who are you? And what are you about? What is your brand about? What are you marketing to me? Why do I have to pay attention to you? Baby, let me kill this myth. Sex does not sell. Sex intoxicates. And if I can help out with this, stop falling in love with the potential of a person because you see their potential, but that's not who they were when you first met them. Oh, this has still got to do with branding and marketing, because I can get into relationships because the people you carry on your arm, I pay attention to. The way they dress, I pay attention to, because I bet not see your hair done and your child's head nappy. Who are you? What are you about? What's your brand about? You say you starting a company and you do hair. Well, why you got nappy-headed kids? You say you got a shoe store. Well, why all your shoes tore up? You represent what you are about. You represent your brand when you wake up to when you fall asleep. And if they get a picture of you while you sleep, you better be representing your brand. Let me tell you, because it does. It really does. So you want to create your own yellow brick road. And there are different levels of influencers, but stop comparing yourself to influencers and be inspired by them. Comparison is deadly. It is deadly to the artist. It is deadly to the preacher. It is deadly to the prophet. It is deadly to the branding marketer. It is deadly to the dancer. It is deadly to whatever you are about. Comparison kills. And it has no time to put you in your grave because it doesn't care. We are all on our different journeys and our own paths. I can't make my brand look like yours when you've been working for 45 years and I just started yesterday.
Come on.
And for y'all that's making these unrealistic goals for yourself and company, let me tell you something. You gotta stop doing that because you're gonna run yourself in the ground and your company gonna die before it can even fly.
Mm.
That's like clipping the wings to a bird. You never wanted that bird to fly. That's you must stop comparing yourself. There's different tiers of influencers. There's the A-list influencers, there's the micro influencers, there's the beginning influencers, there are the mega influencers, then you get to celebrity status. You got all of that. But I want to uncover a truth because you get likes and shares on your YouTube videos, you're not gonna get paid by that. It's consistency. It's consistency. You're trying to figure out why people on Instagram making millions of dollars. It's consistency. On Facebook making millions of dollars. It's consistency. It's consistency. Consistency will tell me if you are worth me spending my time on you.
Mm.
Not only that, but the way that you communicate about who you are and what you are will make me say I'm in or out. There's a lot of people, and I shouldn't do this, and I've been told I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to be honest. I turn down people left and right. You can't come at me and say you want your brand built, but you have nothing. Now, I can build your brand from nothing, but I need you to come with something. I just told my family over the holidays, you want me to help you build your brand? I need a mission statement and a logo immediately. Because if you don't know what your company is about, I definitely don't know what it's about. So I can't help you build on something we know nothing of. That's like putting bricks together without mortar. An earthquake is going to cause that house to fall.
Yeah.
And if I can help you out, stop building our businesses on sand. Okay, let me say that again. We got to stop building our businesses on sand because sand sinks.
Mm.
If you grew up in church, you knew that who the chief cornerstone was. What? You build a house. Those men, one built his house on the rock and one built it on the sand. Baby, intelligence and common sense is a big part of your success and business success. Let me tell you, you gotta have common sense, and not just common sense, but universal sense, because all of this is gonna come into play within your branding, within your marketing. Because I can look at you, I can look at your social media, and I can tell what you're about, and I'll tell you if you got the job or not, because that's what a lot of them do. And you wondering why you didn't get a call back for your job? It's because they looked at your social media and saw that you was half dressed and all posing up on the floor, and you want to go and work a lawyer job. What I represent must show every day. Y'all don't listen to preachers that don't live the life. Oh, wait, some people do. Let me not say that. But still, you got to live the life that you talk about. When people look at me, I pray they see God. I pray they see a creator. I pray they see a black young man trying to make something of himself before I walk on the street and get shot for dealing drugs or for having a color flag in my pocket. Our African American, and I'm going to say this plain, black people are meant to be royal. You wonder why we are suppressed? It's because we are meant to be in a place that a lot of us are in the place we're in because we never got into position to be moved up.
Mm.
And preparing your brand and starting with marketing starts there. I can't get a promotion if I've never shown my boss what I can do. When you go to a job, you must have the credentials to get a certain position and to get paid a certain amount. And while I'm on that subject, let me help out my artist friends or my business owners. Artists don't gotta live broke. I don't know who told you that. That's a lie. And you tell them to stop speaking negative over your life. Artists don't live broke. He would have never put the gift in us if we were meant to live broke. That's like him lying, and he don't lie. God can't lie. If he put you in it, he said it was going to make room. But let me tell you something, just as my shirt is saying, faith is moving. Faith without work is dead. I'm not going to say I want to be like Oprah and not even get a nothing together. A business proposal, a logo, no nothing. I can't say I want to be Tyler Perry and I'm not even trying to be him. But I can't say I want to be him and I haven't picked up a pen or a pencil and start writing. Every time you see Tyler Perry, you know his brand. You know these things. So who you are, it immediately identifies you. You have to create your own yellow brick road. There are different types of influencers, but we are on our own path. So you got to stop comparing yourself to each other. Let me tell you something. You must treat yourself like your business because you are your business. These people that are out here making millions of dollars, they dress like they're making millions of dollars. They're not acting like it because the actors are still broke. These are people that have wealth and know how to look like they're wealthy. You create wealth, you become, you become that look, the outside of you becomes that wealth. Not that you become greedy, but what I do, I begin to look like. We've all heard our parents say it. The people who you hang around is who you're going to start acting like. It's the same thing. Branding, marketing, business, artistry, even Clubhouse has gotten started, and it puts you in groups of people that are like-minded, having conversations specific to what you need to learn, specific to helping you out. So I need to see the same colors. I don't need to see a different Facebook, Instagram, Twitter profile picture every 5 seconds because then I don't trust you. Because you building your brand, you have to build your brand and you build it the way that you do to build trust. These big law firms, people go to them because they built trust. Advertising, word of mouth, people talk. And they talk about you. Yes, they do. They talk about what you had on. They talk about what you represent. They talk about how well you did. But at the end of the day, it's about what you have done to prepare yourself for where you're going. You have to prepare yourself for where you're going. You can't want to become a jeweler and don't know how to deal with diamonds because then you mishandle them. That's the same thing with your branding and marketing. You don't want your brand to be mishandled. You don't want what represents you to be mishandled. You don't want people to go and talk about your name. You don't want people to say this stuff about you, but you're doing this stuff. You're causing it. You have to, if you want to be presented clean, I must be clean because it's time out for faking because we can see who fakes. When I look at your brand and I don't see you representing it every day, and I see you changing it up every 5 seconds, I don't trust you, and I'm not going to ask you to come and be a part of my show. A lot of people hit me up and they say, oh, I need a flyer, but you don't have any professional pictures, but you don't have a vision. You don't even have a title for what you want to do. These preachers be having big conferences. You want to know who really come up with the conference names? It's the graphic designers. I'm just being honest. Because a lot of pressure is put on the graphic designer to build from nothing. And if you're talking about having a brand or a business or you're an artist, You got to come with something, because what can we meet you with if you come with nothing? And let me help y'all out. No graphic artists, if they're a graphic design artist, if they're an artist, nobody should be doing anything after today for free, because you had to learn and hone in your talent and your gifts to build this brand and to be the way that you are. You didn't get it for free. You had to go and learn. So why give other people your gifts and talents for free? And that's including your family. Stop bailing your family out. You want to build a brand, you got to go to the person that is trained professionally in helping you build it. You have to, because at the end of the day, when I see that flyer, I'm going to come straight to the first person's name I see on that flyer. That name I see, blah, 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 presents, I'm going to that person. The big person on the picture on that flyer, I'm going to that person. You have to represent and be what you look like. Um, because again, social media is your calling card, and you have to treat yourself like a business. You wouldn't go out and mishandle your business because nobody wants to go bankrupt. So why would you go out and mishandle yourself? Yourself is your business. It's your brand. It's your promotion. It's your daily advertising.
Do
We
y'all
pay
have
attention to people.
do you have something else, LReco?
Yeah, I'm coming down to the end of it.
Okay.
Um, which is the way that you look. Like I said, your outfits, that's social media branding. That's your aesthetic. When I go to your Instagram page, and you go to certain people's Instagram pages and you see these certain colors and you see what they're about, you will always remember. I don't care if you was up there for 5 seconds. You remember the colors that they had. You kind of remember what they represented, or probably a picture of about the outfit they had on. It's because that's their aesthetic, and they stick to it, and they don't change it every 2 seconds. It's something that they build on. You don't go and reconstruct a house while you're building on it, because you can't see the flaws of it. You can't see what is out of place if you keep trying to edit while working.
Mm.
So that's a big tip. Stop trying to edit while working, whether you are a writer, whether you are a songwriter, whether you are a singer, an actor, whatever you are. Stop, stop, stop. It does not help. Stop editing while working. And also, let me help out the people that come to the artists and the graphic designers and the branding people. Y'all have to know what you want. Kind of help us out, because we can't pull your own brand. We're too busy working on our own.
Mm.
We're willing to help you, but if you come to us with nothing, you're going to get nothing. Whether it's a writer, you can't say, I want you to publish a book, but you don't have a manuscript. Start it. Because a lot of people have done that as well to me. Hey, can you help me with my book? What book? You don't have a manuscript. I don't know what your book is about. You can tell me all day, but I don't know what it's about until I've seen it in my hand, or until I see the work. Like she said, that black and white, concrete, baby. I trust and believe that you are going to follow what you need to do, or go after what you need to go after to get to where you are, because this piece of paper holds that. And find an accountability partner. Find somebody that's willing to help you. Find somebody that's willing to pull you aside and be like, that wasn't good. And I hope you know that didn't represent who you are in your brand. Because it's very, very important. And being consistent and being relentless. And there's so much more, of course, within branding and marketing that we can talk about, but you must be relentless, because you're not going to be on Forbes 30 under 30 tomorrow. You just started yesterday.
And you have to be consistent in building
That's
the
right.
brand. You're welcome, Valerie. I know the time is being getting a little late for some on the Eastern Standard Time, and by 10 o'clock. Some people be winding down. Do you have something else?
That was about it. The very last thing that I would say to like wrap it all up is you must be what you are saying you are. You must represent that. You must show that if it's on clothes and pay these people. Pay these people that know what they're talking about and know what they're doing because if you don't, you just started something that you want to fail. And let
Absolutely.
me help y'all out. Stop coming up with plan B's and C's and D's. Work on that plan A. Turn it into plan A 2.0, plan 3.0. Keep working on that same plan until your business is what you want your business to be. Because the more
Amen.
you want it, I'm going to want it. Because nobody is going to take care of your baby, whether it's natural, spiritual, however you want to put it. Nobody's going to take care of your baby like you. So stop giving it to the hands of other people so they can mishandle it because you're giving them permission to mishandle your brand and who
Mhm.
you are. Who you
Absolutely.
are, I know if I see you around somebody, I'm going to automatically assume that you're just like them. So you got to be cautious. People are watching. We watch everything you do, we watch everything you post. Just because I don't comment and like and share and tag means nothing. I see what you do and I send it to other people so they can see what you do and see what you're about. Marketing and branding is very, very important. And if you abuse it, you might as well not go after whatever you're talking about. That's
Absolutely.
like even down to your child, your wife, your spouse, whoever. You can't expect greatness out of them if you keep abusing them. And stop covering up our family members, bro and sis, and try to get stuff for free. Because you're not a real friend nor a real family member, because you would want to sow into these creatives to
Mhm.
help them become greater. If you can help somebody, help them. There is somebody tied into your dream, and if you don't do the work, you're going to make them miss what they are supposed to have because they're watching you. They are watching you. They're looking at the brand. They are looking at what you wear. They're looking at how you show yourself in church and how you show yourself online and how you show yourself on Facebook and Instagram and on the private Snapchat stories
Absolutely. I
and on
agree.
the vanishing mode stories. We see all of that and we know what's real and what's fake. And if you're going to present something, you have to present it with authenticity. And before I be quiet, I must tell you, lady hostess Victoria, thank you so much, Mom, for having me on the show. Thanks for trusting what I've been taught, but also the God in me and representing you because right now this is your brand and I'm representing it and I hope I'm doing it well. But I want to tell you too that God is about to open up the whole world for you. So many millions of lives going to be saved and so many people are going to be delivered just because you decided to break your silence because you understood what it felt, what it meant to get out of a comfortable situation and go after who you were called and meant to be. And God is so, so proud of you. And this year is about to be like you blinked your eyes because it's about to be that great for you. And I just want you to know God is so pleased. He's well pleased with your sacrifices and even the opportunities that you've given all of us up here. You keep putting yourself out of the way to put up other people, and that's what He wants. And He's proud of you. And for that, when this show is getting paid for by executive producers coming from Hollywood, don't be shocked because a lot of what's around now isn't as strong as this. Doesn't offer longevity because even your brand has to be long, has to offer longevity. But I want you to know that the big bills, the big building that you've been seeking about and you've been asking him about, you gonna have that, and you ain't coming out of pocket for it because there's people, there's the thousands of people that are going to be watching nightly or weekly and they're going to be willing to help you because they believe in your vision and your mission, and they see that your brand is strong. And your brand is to deliver people and help bring people into deliverance. And that's what you're doing. And I just, I'm excited because I see so much, but I just want you to know you're about to skyrocket. And for the men up here, just because you are connected, your lives are about to change within 48 hours. The call that you've been waiting on is about to come through. That check that you've been waiting on, that's been holding you up, that's about to come through. You're about to sign off. You ain't about to be paying mortgages. You're not about to be paying car notes because of y'all's obedience and faithfulness. He promised you that he would make you rule over many if you're just faithful over a few. And that you guys have been. That you guys have been. He's healing families and breaking generational curses. And it's all through because you've been obedient. And you don't know how many women in my family that you've already helped been delivered because you decided to open up your mouth when God said so. We have to stop being reluctant to listen to the voice of God and stop calling it crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go this way, but this is still going on with your brain because he gives you the instruction. And also, let me help you. If a prophet comes to prophesy and they don't give you instruction, they're a liar. Because God always gives you instruction. Whether it's your brand or your company, seek him about it and make sure it's solid and it's concrete. Because what you present the first time is what we're going to always perceive. Yes.
Wow.
I receive it.
I know you do.
Hey, I receive it too.
I'm
Hey,
gonna hit you up, Rico. 48 hours now.
Oh, it's going to happen because God is a man of his word. I'm only a vessel. He spoke that, so it must happen.
Hey, I felt that. Yes, Lord.
And just because you want him to prove it within 48 hours, he's going to do it in 24. Watch what I tell you.
oh boy.
It's your favorite year. It's your favorite year. It's your favorite year. And it's your favorite year. Everything that you've done, every seed you've sown, get ready because harvest is plentiful. And you are one of the laborers that must go and pick up your harvest because you're so much, it's going to be so much so that it's going to overflow from y'all. And y'all about to be hiring tons of people because you got to give this away, what you got, because you don't have enough room to have that stored. He stored it up in you because he needed you to give it out. He's putting it in your hands because he needs you to give it out. He's giving you this information because he needs you to give it out. And you got to be bold and have confidence when you go about it, even within branding, marketing, money, finances, marriage, all of it. You got to remember who the center is. And if you keep this man the center, I promise you, he will open up the windows of heaven. And I even prophesy, decree, and declare that within the next 7 days, if you stay faithful in your prayer all 7 days, God is about to open up the window of heaven. And everything that you've been asking him for, he's going to do it in the amount of 3 months. And it's because of your faithfulness. But let me tell you something, you can't waver. If you're going to go after this thing, you got to be for real about it. Don't start a business. Don't start being a singer. Don't say you're this and that if you're not serious, because God is only in this season, in this year, 2021, he's only promoting the people that are willing to do the work. And if you have not done the work, don't expect promotion. And that's for any boss or any employee. You can't expect promotion if you've never done the work. And he's saying right now, he even so much so that he's burnt, it burns in you. It burns and it's like fire in you. And you're trying to figure out, well, all of a sudden, why did you get hot? Because you have something that you are sitting on that's burning up inside of you because you refuse to use it. You feel fire because it's burning up. Not it's telling you, I need you to use me. I told you that if you show this, God said you've been asking me to put you on main stages, but I didn't see you do a virtual concert. You're asking me to put you on TV, but I never see you rehearse lines. You asked me to make you a New York Times #1 best-selling author, but you have never picked up a pencil. He said, stop expecting him to do what you won't even do for yourself, because he's not doing it. Don't expect nothing from God if you're not willing to work for it. And in this season, you must work for it and you must be consistent. Because the very moment you waver, it's going to be all gone like that. He said he'll be back in a blink of an eye. It's going to be gone just like that. Just as Joe as you blinked, it's going to be gone. So you got to be concrete and you got to stay faithful. And I promise you, if you in this year birth out a business, and this is, wow, I didn't know that I was going here, but this is a segue because my company, Bawse Productions, we're producing a program called the Labor Room. And the Labor Room is helping any artist or business owner, helping them with their graphics, helping them with business statements, helping them with websites, whatever you need. We're willing to be your midwife and help you birth out what's in you because you can't sit on what he's giving you. You can't. Don't do it to yourself. We've been lazy long enough. The pandemic's been here. It's given us all an excuse. But that time is up. You have to work for what you want. If you want to see results, you must work. If you don't work, you don't eat. As Darrell said, you don't eat. A man that doesn't work doesn't eat. Spiritual, female, male, however you want to put it, a man that does not work doesn't eat. You got to put in the work, y'all, and you have to be concrete and very stable on your foundation because you can't say that you're one thing because we're watching you once you say that. You can't declare that you are pastor, prophet, preacher, apostle, and you haven't even joined nobody's church. Stop giving yourself these titles when you haven't worked for them. And let me help you out even further, and this might really upset a lot of people. Stop giving yourself titles when you haven't earned the oil. That's the same thing with branding and marketing. Stop giving yourself names when you haven't worked for it. You didn't work for that oil. How you become an archbishop and you 12? How you come an archbishop and you got an apostle sitting there nameless and willing to sit back for 27 years and don't care if he's known or not? Because let me tell you something, we must stop performing. Because a lot of what we've done in the past, it was all performance. It was all performance. It was what I wanted you to perceive me of. And this is same thing with branding, marketing, finance, and all of it.
That's good.
Branding, finance, all of it. It comes in the same thing.
I just want to jump in right here on LReco because you have gave a lot of great content and a lot of stuff for others to sit on. I don't want nobody to vomit because you filling everybody up with a lot of information on tonight. But I do want to give room to others like Dr. Tolbert and Collis. Those of you who are on social media, all different outlets, you guys have the opportunity to come in. If you could just inbox me tonight only. If you can inbox me tonight only while I have my messenger open, inbox me so I can bring you into the conversation to ask your questions because it's hard to, and I'm still seeing this, that you guys are making comments, but we would like to bring you into the conversation. We would like to bring you into the room, whether you have questions for Dr. Tolbert, dealing with insurance, if you want to bring questions to Professor Collis, who is the guru on a whole lot of things, because he's a professor himself. I say that's my brother. He's a professor, and so I would rather for you to talk with them and bring you all in. If you guys can just put in the comment section, raise your hand, bring me in. I can inbox you the link to join into the conversation because we want to be able to bring you in so that you can talk with us and so we can help you. Because I know some are sitting and listening, but it's nothing like bringing them in. The CEO of Miss Wordsmith Enterprises Publishing Company, Tamika Smith, she's on. Tamika, is there anything you would like to say? Are you in a position to even be on live? And I asked her that because she does work at night. And so she gives great content. Nate we're sorry that Nate couldn't be on tonight. Please keep him lifted in prayer. He had a family emergency, so keep him lifted. Check in on him, brother. Make sure he's okay. He inboxed me earlier today, and he hated that he missed it, but he does want to make sure that you guys know that he couldn't be on with us on the show tonight. So inbox somebody. Let me check my thing because I don't want nobody to be. So when I inbox you, you didn't say anything. I'm so sorry, and I don't want to get that kind of feedback. Mother Erica, sorry, I'm yielding my time. Great content. Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Miss Tamika, for everything you do. You're a very wonderful person and an excellent boss and an excellent team member. And I believe that just because you are attached to this young lady right here, you're going up with her because everybody that is attached to her in this season of her life she's taken up with. So I am grateful to God for you
And it's only
and
a
your
few.
work.
Let's be clear.
Right, and there's only a few, but I'm grateful to get to know your work and be able to work with you. And like I said, I'm thankful that you brought me up
Thank
here.
you so much, Tamika,
It's
for putting the cash app on, sister. I appreciate that.
an amazing experience. Guys, please ask questions. We're here to help. Please,
We're
please
here.
ask questions.
I don't want you to be afraid to jump in the conversation. Mother Erica, you want me to bring you into the conversation? She said, we going up. The glow up. She has a glow up brand, and her glow up brand is amazing. So you have to go and check out her website because she has some great branding and marketing. Dr. Tolbert, Dad, it's weird calling him by Dr. Tolbert. It's so weird because that's my dad. It's really weird. Um, Collis, do y'all have any questions for LReco?
No, actually,
Yeah, I
you
do.
pretty much touched on a lot of things that I've done research on and read about, but never had them articulated from person to person, kind of like YouTube videos. But it all makes logical sense. And my fiance, she's big into marketing and branding, so I'm definitely gonna play this back for her in the morning, so she can get some of them jewels because she's much into that. Me,
Yeah, she is. And she's
I'm
really
I'm
good
not
at it.
really that big into that. You know what I'm saying? Like I
You
kind of want to
take
be the
pictures
guy.
of your fashion.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to be the guy, make the money, and still go to McDonald's without somebody knocking my burger down because they want an autograph. You know, so I still want to be chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Listen, that's real. That's real. That's really
I
real.
think
And
that
tell her,
I think with me when I was out of town, and I was in the airport in Atlanta this past weekend, and I didn't know none of these people, but I was giving autographs, and I was at Lone Star Steakhouse just sitting there, and the lady looked at me and she said, "And who are you again?" And I just looked at the lady. I said, "Oh, I'm just a person." She said, "Not with those two women. They just screamed and hollered. And they was like, you was on Larry Reid." And I was like,
yeah,
"Hi."
that's big. Like, I I don't know. It's something about me. Like, I don't mind it, but I also like. It's kind of like I like I don't mind doing things for notoriety and things like that, but I just don't want it all the time. Is my thing. So I've never
right.
actually put together a full campaign of marketing and branding. Like even like all my stuff is like stuff I do in real time, like the property solutions and the real estate investment and stuff I do in real time. But I don't post all that stuff because I honestly it gets overwhelming too, right? Like consistently being consistent on Facebook is a full-time job. Being consistent on
It is.
Instagram is a
It
full-time
truly
job.
is.
And you honestly need somebody else to probably do that. Sometimes 16, 17-year-old kid that just loves being on the internet. But at the full day of being a man, then also have to be work your social media. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
It
Yeah,
that's a
is.
lot.
no, and that's very true. And to help you out with that, there's a lot of people in that situation, and a lot of people don't deal with social media, and that's the best thing that you could ever do. Go to somebody that you know that loves social media and that you genuinely trust,
And
work with them, because then you are helping them
do what
figure
they
out
love.
what their dream is, what they love to do. And if you know, if you need help, if your wife need help, anybody, let me know. I
Yeah,
will help you to the best of my
and that's
ability. I promise
and
you, I will.
that's something we've been discussing, like just paying somebody else to do all that, like it's not that intriguing to me, honestly, because I'm born in '83, so I'm not that old, but I'm not that young neither, to the point where I want to be clicking on all these, and I don't want to be learning all these new reels and TikToks. Like, I don't be doing no
Right.
reels,
And
you know
that's,
what I'm
like I
saying?
said, that's so real. And there's a lot of people out here that is like that and feel like that, because after you've done work a whole day, a whole 8, 10, 16 hours, you don't have time to come home and do that. So you do want to have that person that you can trust, that is doing it without you looking over their shoulder. That is
Right.
a big thing. You must, whoever you bring on your team, you must be able to trust them and don't have to look over their shoulder unless you're training them, unless you just brought them on the team. But after about a month, 2 months, if they don't got it, they can't be a part of your team, because then that holds you back and that puts more stress on you. And with this social media and marketing, it can be really, really stressful. Let me
So in
tell you, it
regards
is
to that,
That's
really
what I'm saying, and
stressful.
that's what I've learned, Collis, with doing this whole no longer on mute, international, having Tamika and LReco on the team. I mean, Linda. I mean, it's my cousin Pedro in North Carolina. I mean, I got 3 people in North Carolina and 1 person, LA, and it's like we're working on different time zones and just different
Right.
stuff, and I'm just like, okay. Listen, I don't know what to do. What I did, and everybody asked me, Victoria, what did you do to get Tamika? To be honest with you, I built a friendship with her. I had no clue that it was going to evolve the way that it did. I had no clue.
Yeah,
I honor
that's
her for it. I
that's
respect her
so
for what
good.
all that she does for no longer on mute. The stuff that you guys see is stuff that LaRico and like with my book, Tamika pushed my book on top of building her own brand. She's building her brand, helping me build my brand. And
Exactly.
I text her and she'll say, okay, I did this, sister, because we're sisters. At the end of the day, we are sisters, but she would say, no, you're not gonna do this. She's my no person. She tells me no all the time. I don't argue with Tamika. I just said, okay. I, Dad, she probably the only one I probably may not argue with on a daily basis. When she texts me, I can hear her tone when she texts me because I've learned her. We built that relationship and it started to where we were friends first. And um, everything that mother said, I'm passing at this time, but it's been a great every hand. I say all the time about be mindful how you carry yourself. Yes, mother, you do. LaRica, I am a boss all the time. Even my children call me boss lady. Yes. Mother Erica is a boss all the time.
She
So,
is.
you
That
know,
she is.
but Tamika and I, we built that relationship. So relationships, she just messaged, it matters. They
Yeah.
do. Because you should, I feel like if I'm reaching out to college fiance and I'm saying, hey, I want to know, what you do to get the write a children's book. Well, before I will be offended because for
Right.
one, I didn't even say, hey, how you doing? I would like to get to know you better and how you built your brand? Or can we start off with conversations? That's how you start building relationship. Or hey, do you have time scheduled off on your calendar this week to see if we can talk or chat about building building business relationship? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, let's talk about it. So that's why a lot of our culture don't want to build relationships.
Right.
Culture don't want to go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings and city council meetings. Our culture doesn't want to go into Walmart or Walgreens and have relationships with and build relationships with the pharmacist or the cashier. I need more on finance with Dr. Tolbert. Okay, mom, we'll get that schedule with you this week so that you or next week just inbox Dr. Tolbert and he can definitely communicate with you on more on finance. Um, also, we really need to make sure that we build relationships. The reason why I have great rapport here in Texas from day one is because I was in the store and I just built the relationship. I went and walked. I walked from the apartment, and I was just, "Hey, how you doing?" They like, "You really nice." I'm from North Carolina. Where are you from? And then that's where because I'm a social butterfly. So I have built relationships just off of getting to know that person, looking eye to eye. Eye contact matters. I mean, relationships is key. So you have to make sure that you build relationships. Me inboxing his fiance and saying, "Hey, I'm ordering your book." She already has sold out. So I went on Amazon. Well, where can I get it? Amazon. My book will be here this week. So it's like making sure I connect. Let me understand. Let me get in the know. Check her website out. The website there is for you to get more information. And that's the purpose of having a website. Get more information. If you're interested, hey, book a consultation. Your time is not free. So it's
Absolutely.
daughter, I don't charge for marriage counseling. Daughter, I don't charge for this. Daughter, I don't charge for that. And I be like, Daddy, you do a whole lot not charging because it don't make no sense. And so now Daddy said, daughter, I know who my provider is. I know who takes care of me. God takes care of me. God gets the increase. So at the end of the day, it may not come from this because I'm doing it from a good heart. And so having my dad, my father in my life, he's like, I'm showing you another way. I'm showing you how to do it. But see, that's how I was too. And Tamika was pushing. Hey, listen, your time ain't free. You're not talking to these people. These people are crazy. They've been inboxing you crazy stuff. Listen, you're not talking to those people. No. I know. I was like, well, I just wanted to just have a conversation with them. I just want to see. She said, no. You want a whole business. You want a school. You everything. You cannot do it. And then it came to a point where I was like, you know what, Tamika, this real overwhelming. And she be like, I just told you this time not free. So it's like now we're on a whole nother scale because we got to schedule book, Facebook. They have appointment schedulers on there. If they want to book you, they can, Daddy. You got people Daddy, you got a whole business in India. My dad has a whole nother school in India. And everybody's like, he got a school in India. I had someone call me today. 2 schools in India. And someone asked me today, they said, your dad tall. I said, I don't share my dad. And now I don't share him. And I'm still saying I don't share him.
Look at you being selfish.
I'm being selfish. And that's what y'all pray for me. I share him with Collis and LReco. But everybody, I can't share my daddy. So when they asked me, he's a pastor. They used to be up underneath me as a pastor. And he was like, Lady B, I'm looking for a mentor and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I got my dad, but I ain't trying to share him. Well, Lady B, just help me out. And I'm like, no, I can't share my dad. But he good people. But I was able building relationships. Even after they came up from under the leadership that I was married to, they still call me. They still talk to me because you have to be a trustworthy person, a real person in order for your relationship to stay together. And I'm trying to understand. My daddy got 2 schools over in India. This don't make no sense. Then I want that long money. How do I get it? And daddy tells me all the time, daughter, stay close. If you listen to what I say, you'll be out of debt. If you don't listen to what I say and you do what you want to do, you're going to stay in debt. And my daddy got a cap on me. I think I done maxed my cap out. I maxed my cap out on my daddy because my daddy's like, girl, no. But anytime I need something and it makes sense, it has to make sense to my dad. If it don't make sense,
there you go.
And it doesn't make sense, and you asking him for his money, he'll tell me. He'll say, you asking me for my money, that I got questions. You not gonna ask me for money and don't want me to ask you no questions. Now
That's
we got
right.
a whole problem. So
That's
that's
right.
another thing that you got to look at. You have to also make sure you build these relationships. But when you go asking for money, what you want it for? And if and you got to think about, see, Daddy's so smart. I've learned it. He asks you what it's for. You tell him what it's for. Okay, let me think about it. Let me see. Let me check. I got to go to the bank tomorrow, but I see that I see it might not be. So,
You'll
so
never see it.
if it don't make sense, Daddy always said money makes sense. So what you're saying that it doesn't make sense, you're not getting my money. And he always say, I don't give money if I can't. I don't lend out money if I need it back. And he would say that. And I said, well, Daddy, I get that, but just give me a little bit of time. Daddy say, daughter, you good, you straight. It's not that, it's just the principle. And
Right.
I respect that and honor that by my dad because my dad is tight with money. And he has a very good reason.
Conservative,
Daddy, I still say
conservative,
tight, Daddy. I say tight
conservative.
because Daddy said he worked hard for his money.
It's conservative, conservative. But I want to talk to Rico real quick. I was excited about you because everything you said ring a bell. Because I've been, matter of fact, I talked to daughter about marketing and everything. I write plays, so I understand characters. I have the ability to suck people into my life. You go on Facebook, there's a character on there called the Preacher Man. Well, he's a character. He's somebody that I created, that I worked though. He's not Darrell Tolbert, he's not Dr. Tolbert, he's the Preacher Man. He's that character that's gonna be funny. But last year I started the brand because I'm a fitness trainer. And I had been promoting Iron Termite for years, just kicking it, nothing real about it, just kicking it. It wasn't until I asked God last year. I said, I want something that nobody has ever come up with. I want something new. You know how people invent all this stuff. And God said, you got something. I'm like, what? What's he said, Iron Termite. I said, oh, somebody probably got that. I don't think that that's an original. So he said, go on Sunbiz. So I Googled Sunbiz and I Googled the name and kind of find out the name was original. It's even though I came up with it, but nobody has it. So I'm like, oh my God. So that's when I went to the trademark and I paid like $700, $800 to get the name trademark, right? So I have that page there. If you go on that page, the Iron Termite, he's the fitness guy. It's called Health and Fitness Tip was the Iron Termite, where he promote health and fitness because I've been doing it forever. But now it's coming to the friend that now it's serious. It's I got the dude, he's the dude. And with the books and everything, I've been writing books since 2001. My first one was published. One thing I realized, and God told me this year, at the beginning of the year, perfect ministry. Not so much that I don't know how to do ministry, but what he meant by that is what you're talking about, the social media, all these different, anything that you can expand yourself with, you should get into all the platforms of social media. And that's how these people get out. And one of the reasons why I'm at a level to where I'm at is because I have never utilized all the platforms. And I heard you cover that. And one of the things I was looking at, okay, what do you all do? If I come to pay you, what do you do? How do you advance me? Do you reach out to people? What is involved in the packaging as far as if I pay you money? Do you put me on these stages? How do you advance me? How do you get me beyond to where I have pushed myself?
Let me tell you, if everybody would ask that question when they first start something, we would really have some business owners and some artists for real, because we tend to typically fall into a trap when it sounds good. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I've sat at the table with uh recording artists, known recording artists, people that had just won the Four and all of these singing shows. And the first thing is, so what do we go now? What we gonna do to make them? Where's all this money about to go? And they quickly get into this this contract that they know nothing about and haven't read, and now they don't even own rights to their music. Um, but with that being said, what I do, like I said, I'm a branding architect. I'm going to help you build your brand from the ground. We're going to find your colors. We're going to find your graphics. We're going to create your logo. We're going to create your Facebook pages, your social media pages, wherever you need it. We're going to make sure it all looks the same. There's fluidity. There is consistency. We're going to schedule posts. We're going to build a website. We're going to do everything we can, even down to, making sure we invite people. There's small advertising fees on Facebook, and Facebook is now connected to everything. So you pay $10 or $20 for like a whole month, and your product then got all the way across seas. But because we're paying, our color people, we don't like paying for stuff. And because we don't pay, we don't see the full fruition or the full manifestation of what it is. So that's exactly what the labor room program that I'm about to release is about. It's about accepting these new businesses. It's about accepting these writers, these artists that just need guidance. If you need a full birthing, then we right there with you. We going through the contractions, the labor pains, the afterbirth, the everything.
Yeah.
But now if you already pregnant with this baby, we're going to help you push it out, and we're going to help you present it, and it's going to look professional. Because a lot of the times too, poster on my wall, that ain't good for your brand. That's not good representation. There's no quality there. There's something that people are trying to put together. I have to be honest. I go on people's pages all the time. I'm scrolling through social media, seeing all of this graphic content, and I see so many businesses, and so many businesses have they have such bad advertising where I'm like, who wants to believe or use this business? And it's because of, again, that branding and marketing. So
but then too, LReco, there's a lot of like these churches that was creating flyers, like they had a mega sanctuary, and you was going to a storefront church, or you were going to a Burger King or McDonald's parking lot, and they made their flyer look like it was
right. But it's all behind.
We were going to a Burger King,
right?
Not to a Burger King, but I thought we was going to this big old building with our seats.
So this big mega church, right? But it's about
storefront church.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, whatever you putting out there. Looking.
No. Okay, listen. I'm not trying to knock what other people use, but I'm saying if you want it to look professional, you're gonna go to that professional.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, those people went to people that knew what they were doing. Because let me tell you something. A lot of us didn't know who Dr. Matthew Stevens was until this pandemic happened, and we started seeing his marketing. Nobody paid attention to Pastor Jamal Bryant until we started seeing his marketing. There's a lot of these people, those are bigger people, and I use them because they are bigger and they're known, but they're smaller people that if you build that brand and you keep that consistency, you'll make it flourish, and it'll turn into what you want it to turn into. And I'll go as far as even to say, with certain churches, I've tried to help them stay with certain colors, ask them to pick certain colors. Can we stick with this flyer for this day? Or you're doing Bible study Wednesdays, it needs to be the same flyer. I'm not paying attention to 25 different flyers for one night. A Sunday morning flyer, I want to keep seeing that Sunday morning flyer because every time I see it, I know where I'm going to be on Sunday morning. So you go to those people that are trained or that have trained and worked hard to learn this stuff, because then you will get those results without having to pay thousands of dollars. Because there's people that even tell me, they come to me and say, oh man, I just paid somebody $300 for this one flyer. And this flyer has words on it and a gradient background that's done very badly.
And I think also when people are doing graphics, they also need to proofread, spell check. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff that I've seen.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
was
for me
like,
too.
you know,
That's for me
Mika,
too.
when we first started doing the talk show, I don't know if she's still on here, but when we first started doing the talk show, Real Talk with Lady V, it Tamika was good with making graphics because she was doing my graphics as well. And I had other people, but I like to stick with who I know. I
Right.
know, and that's the only reason. But then when I started using his folk, they say 24 to 48 hours, may take 7 days, may not get a response. You know what I'm talking about, Daddy. Don't call Dad, don't get nothing. They're like, well, who did your flyer? Or who did your flyers? And I told Dad that he reached out and said, hey, can you do this flyer for me? I got the money. She never got back with me. Dad, did you ever pay for that flyer?
No, I didn't get with her. She did one, and then after that, it was.
It was horrible. But it was just like, I'm like, and then when I said something, because if I send you somebody and then you turn around and you don't do right by them, I'm calling you and I'm inboxing you saying, hey, what's
Oh,
up?
that's true. She'll do it. She'll
And
do it.
then I would do it. And I'm like, well, that's bad business. You shouldn't have never had did something for my dad if you was not going to be turned, if his turnaround time was not the time you said. And that be my
Right.
thing too. Now, LReco, I know you are very busy. I know I keep you busy. And then I also know that you got other people, celebrities and things that you do work with. So, I honor you and I respect you for the work that you do. But at the same time, it's not good that you have a lot of, even though you're a graphic designer and you're an artist, it's not good
Right.
when other people take advantage of people such as my dad. My dad went through that. And so
Right.
Daddy do his flyers on his own. Daddy, don't you do your own flyers?
No, I wish I did. I pay different people to
Yeah, he
do
pay
them.
different people to do his flyers. And I be like, Daddy, why you had that person do your flyer? He's like, what's wrong, daughter? You didn't like the flyer? I'm like, they could did something different. Like, that ain't you, Daddy. And Daddy don't like,
Right.
Daddy not
I
photogenic.
mean, but a big job for
I
graphic
just like
designers is to
I
take
just
the
like to
thought
help
that
people
you
out
have or
sometime
your
too,
position.
So
Yeah, that know what
Exactly.
I mean. He like to help people out. But my point I'm making to everybody that's out here in social media world, because we're getting ready to wrap this up. I want y'all to understand whenever you're reaching out to anybody for branding or marketing, you want to make sure they work speaks volumes, who they done work for, and reach out to the people that they did a flyer to. Hey, what was their turnaround time? Hey, did they have these crazy fees? That sort of thing. Because then you know who you're working with, who's very professional and, great customer service. I always go to Tamika because I know Tamika know me. She know how I am. And she know whether or not she could do it or not. Some stuff she'll say, Tamika. Tamika say, V, you can do this on your own. I can show you how to do it. Just like with writing my book. She sent me a whole bunch of information. I read it and I was like, okay, I got it. Stick to the script. Stick to the story. Make sure they can't. My books that I've written two, working on my third book. She said, make it to where they cannot put it down. That's
That's right.
all the feedback that I've been getting. Your book, Daddy, y'all gonna get the new vamp. But my book, you can't put it down. It's because it's a real story, but it's real. So anytime you get any type of product, any type of service, or any of that, you have to make sure that you can vouch for that person and
That's
they
right.
they giving good quality work and product.
yeah.
Right.
When I seen Collis future wife Nita, you go to Nita page. Her content, I've been all on Nita's social media before they even made it official. I went on her page and I saw how she took her time in her videos. I saw how she wrote her content. I saw, because I pay attention to stuff like that. I saw the quality of her books. It was just like, this is awesome because she took the time to work on her product. If you don't take the time to work on your product, ain't nobody gonna buy it. This
That's
girl,
right.
she had books. I could have sworn I saw in December this girl had about 25, 30 books stacked up on that thing. Then all of a sudden, I see another picture 2, 3 days later being shipped out. I got 2 books. Then she came back and said, I got 2 more books left. And she put in the caption, if these are sold out, but you can go to Amazon and order. Because as authors, we still got to order more books. So it's better for us to send you to Amazon, because then you can fuss Amazon out.
Right.
You ain't gotta fuss us out. So fuss Amazon out. Don't come to us, because we done send them the manuscript. We done send them the book cover. So now it's on them. You get to check it from them, not from us.
Right.
So it's a lot of things that, we have to consider and look at when we are branding, marketing, book publishers, all of that stuff. I hope I'm helping somebody and making sense.
I just want to put out there one thing. Everything you said was so absolutely correct.
We lost Collis. Oh, you still here? Oh, we lost him.
Like Dr. Tolbert got disconnected.
Okay, you lost
there
my
he
dad.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, we switched. Played musical squares.
Yeah, we all just switched
musical
around,
squares,
and
there you go.
my audio went out and came back in.
I can look at Collis and point at Collis and Collis, will you get it together?
But I just wanted to put out there that everything that has been covered within branding and marketing is absolutely right. The things that you said, if you please understand that building relationships are essential, especially with us, the graphic and the creatives and all of that people. We thrive on relationships. And I say that because as soon as people hit me up in the inbox somewhere and just say, oh, I need this, I go up, first of all, hello, thank you for choosing Bawse Visual Productions. How can we help you? But if mom comes and asks me, hey, son, I need this flyer, and I need it right then, and she knows I'm going to stop, and I admit this to everybody, because it's the relationships. I'm going to stop what I'm doing to take care of somebody that I know, that first I know, and they know me, but it's okay for me.
LReco, you will shoot that. Then you will
work.
put that disclaimer and bring 48 to 72 hours. You'll bring that in.
Oh yeah, I will shoot you a disclaimer. I will. But if I tell you something, I will try my absolute darnest and hardest to stick to it.
He will. He will send it to you. I'm interrupting you because you will send that right away and be like, give me 48 to 72 hours to respond back.
That's an automatic response until I can get to the
automatic response on everything that I do.
Well, I apologize. I'm apologizing for everybody. I apologize.
She sent me today, Tamika. He said, I respond back in 30 hours. 30 hours? I said, what in the world, 30 hours?
That was such a mistake.
I meant to say 30 minutes to an hour. That 30 hours, I was upset.
Don't be upset. Forgive me, please. But I try my best to adhere to what I tell my people.
Yeah,
and if you are somebody out there that is wanting to get started in your brand, in your business, and anything, watch this, and please pay close attention. If you come to me and you said that you came from Let's Deal With It, so with Victoria Nicole Hooks, you got to tell me the whole thing, then I will give you your first flyer for free.
Now
I will give you your first flyer
because I don't know these folks that's watching.
But they're watching the show, they're supporting the show, and I want to give an incentive. You're supporting the show and you're supporting everybody that's up here. So if you come and tell me that you came from the show, that's your trial run with me, and I rather prove myself than not, or let other people just say that this is what I do. I rather prove myself. So if you're out there and you need some help,
I'm only approving to the panelists that's up here at Tamika and Hawkins. I ain't approving nobody else. I'm not doing it.
All right.
I think that's.
Mom spoke.
Go ahead, Daddy, and then you can close us out, Daddy.
Hey, I, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because I got a street service tomorrow. But I think that's a good idea. You know, always honor your fans. Always honor your fans. That's the key thing. But I had a great time with everybody on here. But I went to North South Carolina 9 o'clock today. I got back at y'all saw me making it back. It was like 8 o'clock. So, but I got a street service in Jacksonville, so I got to buy out, get some rest. Y'all keep us in prayer. We go on to Jacksonville.
Daddy, your internet is chopping.
It's the whole show. I'm just gonna buy out, though. I gotta get out of here. Yeah, I gotta go to a drugs area tomorrow. So just keep us in prayer. You know, we're trying to march, get outside the church, go through that city, and try to make a difference inside that city. You know, because like I say, the homicide rate is going crazy. So it's something the church should be doing. You know, just get out of here because I got to get some sleep. We got to drive up there and everything. But hey, I love you. Hey, appreciate all of y'all. Had a great time. Until the next show, I'll catch y'all later.
All right, love.
Collis, what you got?
It's pretty much.
I catch Collis closing. I catch
same
closing. Go ahead.
Definitely a great show. Got good information. Like I say, I'm gonna go find me one of these young 14, 15-year-olds and just send them the information and let them do. Yep, there you go. I'll run it by you, LReco, because let me tell you, I ain't got my fiance trying to show me them reels, and man, you gotta chop this, you gotta do it in 30 seconds. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what's the difference between a reel and an Instagram story? It's the same thing. It's like, but they get more views. They just made up something totally new to get more views. Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I'll definitely be in touch. And I do appreciate the time that everybody's taking out of their schedules going forward every Friday. What is it, 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern? What is it? How does this work? It's 10 o'clock, I think it is. Yep. 10 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock yours. Is that how we doing it?
7 Central.
11 Central?
11 mine.
Eastern, 7
11
Central.
here.
7 Central. Got you. Yep. So I appreciate everybody taking that time out once a week on Fridays to chop it up, have open dialogue about different things that we need to deal with. And V, I definitely want to thank you for dealing with what you dealt with last week, because me and the fiance watched that thing like a whole trilogy. You hear me? We was in this thing like a saga. It was like 90 Day Fiance on steroids. We was listening to that thing. Well, let me tell you something. It was the family Chantel. Everything was on that thing.
Oh, wow. I know a lot of people told me, my dad, let me tell y'all something real quick.
Listen, one of my favorite quotes is like, he was like, it ain't going to be on my credit. Don't worry, the Lord. You're a lie. It's on my credit right now. I said, oh, no.
I have somebody out in the Barbados that have made a shirt, and I just was like, one of my quotes, I said, make sure you, and they sent $75. They said,
what's that other quote she said? You said something else. You said something else. We've been saying it all week. You said about 3 or 4 things. We just referencing them all week. I can't even remember what it was. But you yeah, I mind the business that pays me. You said it like 92.
That's right. You mind the business that pays you. You got to.
Oh my gosh. OMG. Listen, I'm not messing with y'all. My hair coming out now. Y'all doing too much.
Let me tell you something. If you ain't seen that, y'all need to go watch that. Okay, yeah, it's worth the admission. I promise. It's going to deliver you, but you're going to be entertained.
Oh my God.
Your discernment will be stepped up 20 million notches after watching that.
I cannot. Y'all are crazy. And then Tamika got the nerve to type 90 Day Fiance on steroids.
Come on.
Listen, he said it was 90 Day Fiance on steroids.
The family Chantel.
Listen, that's how good you teach.
Talk about me by that lie.
But that's how good you teach. That's how good you teach. That's how good this show is. And you are phenomenal.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all next Friday.
See y'all next Friday.
All right. All right.